that's what he did. And messed up, like, he say he from up there where y'all at. He say he from New York. Well, upstate.
Upstate New York? Nah, we don't claim that.
Oh,
screaming at the top of your lungs don't make you that guy. Try to watch my style and replay it, don't make you fly. Don't take a break, cause the fake like the snake. When the big dog away, all they do is clout chase. When I enter the room, all they do is bout face. Put them lions on my back, then ball with the minister. Side put me on there, everybody wanna mimic you. Yeah, I thought I told you we the toughest here. We be on the scene, niggas screen our shit. We the toughest you done seen, we the big boy clique. If he really want smoke, I pull up with him. Toughest environment, smoke city. I can tell by your energy, you ain't really woke. He showed up to debate, but he choked. No money in his pocket, boy broke. Shit, the only thing he can teach is hope. Kill a spider, drown a fish, stomp a rose, do something. But don't come on sa.neter with the stunt. Everybody over here getting money. Touche hit me up, told me go and run it. Guess I'm Carl Lewis. You looking dumb foolish. Nigga way upstate making soft music. Boy, this the toughest environment, show you how to do it. Mr. Toughest environment, show you how to do it. We be on the scene, niggas screen our shit. We the toughest you done seen, we the big boy clique. If he really want smoke, I pull up with him. Toughest environment, smoke city. I can tell by your energy, you ain't really woke. He showed up to debate, but he choked. No money in his pocket, boy broke. Shit, the only thing he can teach is hope. We be on the scene, niggas screen our shit. We the toughest you done seen, we the big boy clique. If he really want smoke, I pull up with him. Toughest environment, smoke city. I can tell by your energy, you ain't really woke. He showed up to debate, but he choked. No money in his pocket, boy broke. Shit, the only thing he can teach is hope.
By controlling the economics, politics, and culture where you live. And you can't do that unless you control the real estate, unless you control the schools, unless you control the police and the firemen. And we're not going to be able to do that until you control your mind. And so this kind of knowledge will help you take your mind back so you can be black and not be afraid to be black. Whether you want to call it whatever you want to call it, Kemet, Moors, whatever. Just in English, I'm speaking poor cracker English. I be's black, y'all. That's who I is. I is black. Temple at Luxor. So we look at Africa, this map. This is the Mercator map. This is the one that the German drew back in 1565, which most people still use, and it doesn't fully represent Africa. I did this just to deal with the deception of the European on the most simple level, on the level of a map. This is the Peters projection, which is done by the satellite and the computer imaging, and it shows the fundamental difference. Now look at this one. Take the Peters projection and impose it over what they have and see how the gray is the Peters projection. See how fundamentally different it is. Look at how the Greenland is almost as big as Africa in the Mercator projection, and it's just a little bitty island in the real one. And so they've been just they falsely displayed themselves. They tried to make what we looked at. Let me go back. No, I didn't want to go there. I want you to go here, here. Okay.
That's going back. This goes back. Yeah, you want to take it back? Yeah, that goes back.
Okay. I was hitting the wrong button. Don't want to hit the wrong button. Now, when you look at this map, look at the Greenland. They made it bigger than Africa. Yet you can fit Greenland, the United States, all of China, all of Western Europe, and Africa, and still have room. Okay? So I put that up to show the deception that they play on us just as children in school and have us play on ourselves when we look at a map that is a false map versus one that's a real map. This I put up there shows the official languages of Africa right now. Even though in every country we are speaking our indigenous language, unfortunately we're using French, Portuguese, Arabic, English, Spanish. Amharic is the only indigenous language that is the dominant official language in Africa. And I think Benin may have changed their language also to make their indigenous language the official language. And Ghana, believe it or not, is having the same conversation of moving English out of school as the dominant language and teaching people the children in the tree language. This map I put up to show how Africa was divided up by the colonialists into these countries that we now know. Each of these little pieces was a European colony and breaking up whole communities. The people of, say, Ivory Coast, Benin, Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, and they're all the same people. They're all the same people. But they've chopped them up into these different nations, yet these people were culturally, politically, spiritually the same community. Mauritania, Mali, Niger, this is all the same community. Chad, Sudan, this is the same community. Sudan, Egypt, Chad, Libya, all of these are the same people. These are not different peoples. We think they're different people now because Europeans have put different names on them. So when you look at the people who are down here in South Africa, who we call the Zulu, they once lived up here in Kenya and migrated down there over the centuries. And so we've always moved all over to Africa because there weren't no borders or boundaries. And so there is a one peopleness in African people. Though we have diversity depending on the ecology that we develop in, like the Khoisan in the desert and the Twa people in the deep forests here, or the Akan people on the plains here, or the people along the Nile Valley, depending on what ecology we were in, what food we were eating, what was necessary for the survival, determine what type of development happens over the millions of years that we've been evolving. And then we get to this mighty river, which is a very important river. It's only one of the very important river, and that is this Nile River that flows from inner Africa and is fed. We like to talk about the Blue Nile coming out of Ethiopia because we were taught about that so well by Dr. Ben. But this Nile develops way down in Africa, down below Kenya and Tanzania, and Lake Nyanza, which is Lake Victoria, they call it, but Lake Nyanza, and that is fed by many of the lakes and rivers coming out of Congo, and all of these rivers in Congo is feeding this river Nile, as well as the mountains of Africa, like Lake Tana, that's coming out of Ethiopia, the Blue Nile. We're very familiar with that. And this is Lake Nyanza, that they call Victoria. I just wanted to put a scene. This is Kilimanjaro. The snow from this mountain is flowing down to the lakes and going into that same river. Snow from this mountain is feeding the Nile. This is Mount Manzuri in Uganda. We don't think of those snow-capped mountains in Africa, but they have them. Wow. And people ski up here. There's ski lodges, and black folks is doing their thing, and we don't even have a clue. And yet, this feeds into what is called the White Nile, and they all come together at Khartoum in Sudan. The Nile River in Uganda. I mean, look at that. It falls in Ethiopia. This is Dr. Carter G. He's explaining to us, if a race has no history, if it has no worthwhile tradition, it becomes a negligible factor in the thought of the world, and it stands in danger of being exterminated, like we are into right now with all the killing in our own community because our minds have been screwed up with being in the penitentiary and the prison system, being on medication in the school system, being on these parole things, being controlled by crackers in our very community, being forced to live economically where we don't own a single business in our community. All these other people of color who are supposed to be our friends but have fully partnered with our enemy to exploit us is running the beauty parlor, running the clothing store, the grocery store, the hair product store, the washerette, etc. And we're going and they're talking about kapasa, salam alaikum, yo, brothers and sisters. No, brother and sisters, a behavior, not a look. Y'all got that, right? Okay. History is a clock that people use to tell their time of day. It is a compass they use to find themselves on the map of human geography. It tells them where they are and what they are. Dr. John Henry Clark. Yep, the ancient Egyptians were black. Now, if that's not black enough for you, one of the things we have to see throughout, we're going to see throughout, is that we wore our hair in locks in those days. Why? We hadn't probably invented the comb yet. And then it became one of the sacred styles because it was the first hairstyle of the ancestors, so you always refer back to your ancestors being the primal thing. And so...
And when you look at that, you can see they had their tools, they cut it.
Oh yeah, they cut it. Oh, you'll see. Oh no, you'll see carvings on the temple where the sisters and brothers are rolling the hair. Mainly the sisters are rolling those locks. You know, so we groomed ourselves that way. But I just wanted to open it with a statement because this whole trend we're going to see for the next 30 minutes is going to be black faces. I want to make the point because even now I hear people still questioning, is the Egyptians black? So let's just make that point as we go through, just enjoying the look. This painting from the tomb of Ramses III, 1200 BCE, shows that the Egyptians perceived themselves as blacks and represented themselves as such without possible confusion with the Indo-European, which is the Asians type, and the Semitic, which is the European type. This is a representation of the races in minute detail, which guarantee the realism of the colors. Throughout their entire history, the Egyptian never dreamt of representing themselves by the types B or D. And this is in the book. The source of this is The Civilization of Barbarism by Sheikh Anta Diop on page 66. This is in the tomb of Ramses. The Egyptians painted themselves as black. The Asiatics that Diop is called Indo-European is Asiatic looking and light skin, and the rest of Africa as black, and the cracker as the cracker. Okay? So they're very clear. This is what they left for us. This is the story they tell. This is who they say they look like. This is their prototype. But every shade of brown, remember, brown is nothing but shades of black. Let's get that straight, because we get confused and crazy stuff and have silly eyes, but I'm brown, I'm black. Browns are nothing but shades of black, brothers and sisters. And so they show themselves that the prototype for their essence and the cultural type by their dress is the same as they define themselves as the Comitian, as they define themselves as other Africans.
They got on that leopard skin.
Yes, sir. They're clear that this is to symbolize the cultural type, the dress, and then the skin symbolize the genetic type. Bloembo's Cave in Western Cape, South Africa, contains the oldest cave art in the world, 70,000 years old. And you can see we already organized because we're hunting together. We already got the bow and arrow. 70,000 years ago. And so there's no Kemet yet.
Uh-oh. Hold
okay?
On. Say that again?
There's no Kemet yet.
At this time, there's no Kemet.
There's no Kemet
so
yet.
We
down in the Bloembo's Cave 70,000 years ago in South Africa.
So if there's no Kemet, then there can't be no Christianity, no Islam,
no
Moors,
none of that.
No Hebrews,
no,
none of that.
None of
All
that.
right, go ahead. Talk about it.
Again, this is in Namibia, and what's significant is showing that this bow, which called what is it called? Oh Lord, my brain is not. Yeah, it's talking about the type of stress that comes with the bow. It's a very powerful bow, which they tried to say in earlier times was something that came from the Assyrians. Well, we're looking at it down in Namibia about 70,000 years before there is an Assyrian. Okay. This is in Chad, West Africa, which is just west of the Sudan. And again, what you're seeing, when you look at this picture, you understand we have already domesticated the cow. Okay? And these people out there herding their cows, this is a symbol of domesticated animals. They're not chasing wild animals or shooting at animals.
Crossbow?
No, it's called it'll come to me. Composite bow, the composite bow. The composite is talking about the strength it's able to do because of the shape of it. Again, the pre-dynastic cave, 80,000 years BC. This one is in what we now call the Sudan, or down where the Kingdom of Kerma would develop. And here we are with animals. We are hunting. But if you look closely, you'll see people have farm tools and other things. So we've already begun and are well into what we call a civilizing process. And so that area that we were just looking at is in here. Now in this area here, which is Naphtali, is an area, this is below what becomes, this is Abu Simbel, Naphtali, which is in this area just west of that, going towards Chad and Lake Chad. All of the elements of Kemetic civilization is already present and found there. And there's a good book called African Genesis, which you can get on that, and another one which is called The Origin of Map. And you can see that that area, they found a civilization had developed there that was older than Kemet and had all of the components that would later make up Kemet by thousands of years. Just another map trying to show you where Naphtali was. And then on this map, where is it? Okay, it's down here. This is one of the things they found at Naphtali. These stones, some of these stones are bigger than Stonehenge in England. And it shows that not only did they have a clock, but they had a calendar. And it may have well have been also a place of worship. But this setup that they had in place, they could tell the time, and they can also keep time of the year and the seasons. This is older than dynastic Egypt. Again, another shot at Naphtali, one of those sites at Naphtali. And we look at the people from the Kingdom of Yam. So people who have a problem with the people being black or think of themselves as black, this is how they painted themselves. Yam, the Kingdom of Yam, is the area south of Kemet. And in the Kingdom of Yam, one of the great kingdoms that developed before Kemet was the Kingdom of Kerma. And this is from the Magi temple wall there. And this is the way they painted themselves, with what we call nappy hair, or they've got hair locks, short locks, and these are soldiers, and you can see they have bows and arrows already. This is pre-Kemet. This again, the people from the Kingdom of Yam, as they are coming to pay tribute to the people in Kemet, bringing from the south gold, bringing perfume, incense, bringing animals and skins. But again, I wanted to show that they were black. They saw themselves as black and brown. They understood that we were all these variations, not just now. We didn't just get brown when we came to America. People say, oh, y'all got to mix with the white man, so y'all brown. No, we were brown before Egypt, and we were black before Egypt. And the point of these photos is to show the blackness of things. This is the ancient Kingdom of Kerma in the Sudan. This is somewhere between I got 3,000 BC, but this is about 4,000, 3,000 BC. You can see the layout of how enormous these temples were. And this is some of it that is still left standing in decay, but you can see the fantastic geometry that had to be employed. And you can see here they were pillar temples. There is no Greek, there is no Rome, there is no Kemet yet. This temple in Kerma, which we rarely discuss, I'm going to be visiting this summer when I go to Sudan. And so this is one of the great kingdoms that would lead to the great kingdom that will become Kemet. This is the temple of Solab, is also in the Sudan. And in this area, these temples are pre-Kemetic temples. The ancient Egyptian had 3 written scripts. It's important to know because people like to talk about writing. When we wrote our scripts, there was no other written scripts anywhere in the world. You know, this is a pre-dynastic writing. I wish I had a little better focus, because these are pretty clear. I don't know how to get the focus much clearer for you. Maybe sa.neter, when he comes back, I can get him to work on that. This is the Egyptian hieroglyph. What's important about this writing system, which is the one we know better than any other, and oh wow, there's a nice cross right there. This system is written for the masses. Let me be clear. This system is written by the African elite for the masses who are not literate. You know, those who are literate and can read other kinds of cursive scripts because they're going to the universities. And yes, we had universities then. They created very early on a script that the masses didn't have to be literate to understand. This was another level of literacy here, so that you can understand what is being said because you know the ecology and the environment that you live in, so you understood what these symbols represented. So this is a represented symbolic language that related to your consciousness as your consciousness interpreted your ecology in the common way that your community interpreted it. And then you get the heretic script, which is the cursive form of that same hieroglyph that you just saw. You see this language. This is the same language, except it's in cursive symbolic form instead of in the pictorial form. And so this language is used for writing, for record keeping, and that sort of thing. And then there's another form of the language, the third form, called the Demotic script. People wrote treaties, love letters, I guess spiritual notes, in this even more cursive form. So these are three languages that exist. There's no Greece yet, there's no Hebrew yet, there's no Rome yet, there's no Latin yet, there's no English, or none of these things. All of them will have their genesis in these three language forms you'll see, which has its genesis in a language which they claim they can interpret it, called the Maradic script out of Sudan. But there's much more work being done in the Sudan now on that script, and we shall hear more from that soon. This is we're looking at this guy Petrie, was this racist cracker who went down to Egypt in the 1930s as an archaeologist, and he took a lot of pictures and also was responsible for moving a lot of things out of there. So this is one of the early kings of what would become ancient Kemet dynastic. When you look, you'll see that many of the things that's going to make up Kemet is already in existence. It says Hethu, this is the temple. And in line 2 it says Seth, of the god Seth. So there's a temple to the god Seth. So this is pre-dynastic Egypt, but the god Seth is already a part of the discussion, and that means then the pantheon that we see in the pyramid text later is already in existence, talking about what we call the Neters or the Neteru. Net Anu, of the cities of the Anu people. And then sa.neter, the devoted one to God. So this king or this chief or whatever he is that at this time is not, he's a devotee at the temple of Seth, and he's also dealing with being a devotee, being sa.neter, being devotee of God. And there is no Hebrew yet, and yet we got people talking about being devoted to God, to the oneness of God. Yeah. There isn't even a Kemet yet, and yet this is pre-dynastic Kemet. So just to show...
Yo, I like what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
I didn't see none of the scholars that we got today, except for the Amon-Ra squad. I got
the squad is bad now. They're my boys. I got to give it to... Yeah.
They did that.
And so...
But you brother, oh man, this is powerful.
So this is the Scorpion King. I like the Scorpion King because I have a birthmark on my leg. That's a scorpion. And I always felt that I must be the Scorpion King reincarnation. Why else would the divine give me a big black scorpion on my thigh? And so the Scorpion King is pre-dynastic Egypt, 4000 BC. That I know we can't get that focusing. I was wondering, is there something we can do? Oh, it looks okay. Good. And so 4000 BC, we've got the Scorpion King. And so this is, and at this point, we're still not into dynastic Kemet yet. This is a whole development which should be called dynastic Kemet, because this is obviously dynasty, because we are talking about where's the home of Osiris? We'll go, okay. And I dropped the Rosetta Stone in because this is how the white folks say they figured out what we were saying in our writings, talking to one another. They discovered this piece of stone, I think in the 1800s, and they were able to break down our language and get into a lot of our literature. And they like to talk about the physical things, but they rarely talk about our literature. But that's just to make reference to it. It's not that significant for us. Now, Narmer is king of the first dynasty. And we're talking about this, the list of kings that's put together by this priest Manetho, and has been repeated, by the Europeans. And in terms of a dynasty, we're looking at him as someone who became the uniter of all of the different kingdoms. But when you saw Scorpio and you saw Anu, and there were others, they were kingdoms with kings and all of the religion of Kemet pre-Narmer. So Narmer becomes the unifier, it appears in history. And this is what's called the Narmer palette, and it shows him, fighting, and he's at war, and he's capturing a brother. But when you look up there, you see the falcon, so Horus, so it means the concept of the religion is already in place, because Horus is here prominent in the first dynasty. Hathor is here prominent in the first dynasty. And so we know that it takes thousands and thousands and thousands of years to arrive at this type of organizational development. So Narmer may be called the king of the first dynasty because he's a unifier, but he's certainly not the king, the beginning of rule, organization, theology, philosophy in Kemet. This is a part of the Narmer palette. We saw the palette here. And this is it again, because of this thing, according to Brother Theophile Abanga, this is his placenta. And how we know he's African, because African culture is the only culture in the world where a leader carries his placenta with him when he moves away from home. And if he goes back to visit his home village, he carries that placenta back with him, because that tells him and his people who he is. And you may look at this piece and think you're looking at a flower, but that would evolve into what would become the 6-point star, the so-called Star of David. Oh. That's odd, because that's thousands and thousands and thousands of years before these other folks come on the scene. So now I'm just going to walk through many of our great pharaohs, and both male and female, so that you can just see the blackness of them. So when we get to the Masonic thing, where I slow down, we're going to get to that, okay? First dynasty king, and this is a tomb at Abydos. You can see he's a black man. This is important. This is Abydos, the oldest city in Upper Egypt, 5,000 years to 3,000 years BC. Look at the strength and the enormity of these columns. There is no Greece yet. There is no Rome yet. There is no Sparta. There is no Parthenon or Python, whatever they call that thing the Greeks have. Yet the pillared temple is already, there's no Jesus, none of that stuff. And yet look at what we have perfected architecturally and in terms of masonry and mason construction.
Now see, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off, but this is how you really go into a debate. If you really want to drive the point home, you got to go into the history of it and say, at this time, there's no Moors.
There's none of those people.
Drive that point to our
the discussion we having now about a little 50-mile spot in the desert and what emanates out of it is irrelevant to black folks' existence. This is relevant to our existence. Look at this magnificent temple. Just look at the symmetry, man. Look at the symmetry. All right? You know, we're not even looking at the paintings, because what the paintings will show you, the Jed column, that this is 5,000 to 3,000 BC. Our religion is already fully developed. Our language fully developed. And none of these other people exist at this point.
Somebody said, Professor Smalls, are you a Mason?
Yes, I am. I'm a Master Mason, Cornerstone Lodge, number 37, Prince Hall Grand Lodge, State of New York. I'm also a priest of the craft of the Shrine of Hunefer and the craft of the East as brought by Dr. Ben.
When our people hear Mason, they get spooked out and scared of that.
Well, that's what made me put this piece together.
Okay.
So let's go to the next one. Now here's the Grand Master Mason right here, right?
Imhotep.
This is the Grand Master. I mean, it's like deep. This is the Grand Master, one of them, because they've obviously, before Imhotep, that temple I just showed you was built. So there had to have been Grand Masters before him. But this is one of the Grand Masters that we know,
Yes.
right? And he's the architect and the builder of the Step Pyramid and the complex, not just the pyramid, but the complex around it, this whole temple complex around the pyramids. What's important about this little black man is he's also called by the Greeks the father of medicine.
Right.
He's called Asclepius, the god of medicine. So when you take the Hippocratic Oath as a doctor, you have to profess an oath to Asclepius, this black man, and his skills that Europeans in the form of Greeks learned from. This is the Step Pyramid of Saqqara, Egypt, the oldest stone building in the world. So we thought, but I found it really is not the oldest stone building in the world. It's one of the oldest stone buildings in the world, built by African stone masons, 2,630 BC, 62 meters high, 40 acres, the whole complex. This don't cover 40 acres, but the whole complex. There's a whole building complex and temple complex and tomb complex around that pyramid. And the fact that the precision with which these stones are all put together, there's no cement yet. Yet these walls are still standing. There's no cement yet. This is the part of that complex. Look at the intricacies, the niches that people, this is master mason work here. There's no Temple of Solomon yet.
Space came out and built this?
Yeah, the space around us. Well, the space around us. See, what I always tell people when people talk about man from outer space, remember, the Earth is nothing but a planet orbiting in outer space. Whoever's on the other planets are looking at us and say, those folks over there is in outer space. We are in outer space. We are made up of everything in space, all of its elements, all of its light, all of its energy bombards us, even now, wherever we're sitting, wherever we're standing. We are every and all things at once, and that's what the Africans call the divine. That's God. God is every and all things at once, the totality of creation, including you. We each are nothing but an expression of an aspect of the essence of divinity having our peculiar experience. Look at this brother. This is Zoser.
Zoser. Yep.
King of the Step Pyramid. Check out the lips. They break off our nose but make no difference. I just want to show the blackness. Is this black enough for you? That's what this lecture is about. Then when we get to the masonry piece, I'll break down what I'm allowed to break down for you. And I'm allowed to break down what I choose to break down. So look at Zoser, African man. This is the bent pyramid at Dashur. This is the pyramid style that followed the Step Pyramid style. This is the red pyramid at Dashur. This is considered to be the first perfect pyramid in terms of geometrically perfect in the series of pyramids that is being developed. And of course, this is the most perfect. This is the pyramid at Giza. And then we back to the Great Sphinx of Giza again. I like this shot, which was taken by Dr. Asa Hilliard, because you can clearly see this is an African woman. I tend to think more of it as a woman than as a man. From this profile, she is a woman.
This is why Anthony Browder called it Herm-Aket.
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 Yes. Herm-Aket.
Yep.
You know, and like even Asa said right here, is probably older than Kemet. Well, it's been discovered now that it's older than Kemet by about 40,000 years. So we have to ask, who was we when we was building this here?
That's right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I put this up. This is a drawing of the Sphinx by Napoleon's expedition. They were clear this is an African.
That's right.
And a woman. They're very clear. Look at the lips. Now these are the crackers. And they're clear that they're dealing with a black statue. This is Napoleon's people. This is the painting that they painted to take back home. Then we back to King Hetep Second Way.
Now let me ask you, don't move that. Don't move that. Mm-hmm. Look at that real good. Mm-hmm. This is before Islam.
Oh yeah.
Look at the position that they nailed in.
Oh no, I got that covered. We're
Right.
gonna hit that. I got that. I got it.
It all comes from us, man.
Hetep Second Way. I just wanted to show you his locks and show you his nose and his lips. You're looking at a little African man. He's the pharaoh first pharaoh of the second dynasty. We had the first dynasty, we had the pre-dynasty, and they were all African. We entered the second dynasty. This is Sanketi and Nepka. This is the first king of the third dynasty. So they damage it a lot. They like to break up our nose, but they don't hide who we are. So we're clear that we're looking at ourselves. This is Pharaoh Huni. This is the third dynasty, 2,599, 2,575. He's the father of the brother we know as sa.neter. But you can clearly see this is an African man. And this is Pharaoh sa.neter, the builder of the bent pyramid, which I showed you early on in the third dynasty. Make no doubt that you're looking at yourself. I wanted to do this walkthrough from Pharaoh first dynasty to the 30th dynasty to just set the lies aside. We left our images in stone. You can't fool with that. You can repaint a painting, but even breaking off the nose don't change the image in stone. This is another king whose name is also Sekemwe. He comes from that same period. I just love this one because of the brother's profile, you know, and he's wearing his crown. I mean, he is wearing that crown, you know what I'm saying? And so I just thought that was a beautiful picture to put up there, you know. And the key thing was they had white paint. If they wanted to paint him white, they had white paint.
Right.
But they did not choose to do that. They choose to use white paint for his crown and brown for his skin. And like I said, brown ain't nothing but another shade of black. Okay, this is Khufu, the second of the fourth dynasty. And check him out. They broke off Brother Khufu's nose again, but we still know who he is. And he's wearing his locks, you know, and here's Brother Khufu again. We found one that didn't have the nose broken off. And this is another one of Khufu in polished stone. And you remember, and this is his son, Pharaoh Khafra. And it's very clear. You can see this is an African man. And here's the pyramids. And the Sphinx at Giza. But this, look at that Sphinx again, you know, just to kind of see. And look at that pyramid. And remember this pyramid was...
Look how big that, look at the people.
Oh, yeah. And remember, this was covered in limestone, so this was all white with a gold capstone on top of it. So imagine, yeah.
If you look at the Empire State Building and look at this, he said you can make 5 Empire State Buildings.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Masonry of that right there.
So imagine this is an all-white sandstone, limestone, and the limestone was chipped off by the Arabs and the Romans to make their buildings, you know, to cover their buildings with what we call plaster. And that's how it all got chipped off of the pyramids. And on top was a gold capstone. So imagine when the sun hit that thing, that gold lit up across the world. You could probably see it from Congo, you know. And so the purpose of it, I don't even go into the Orion's belt and all of those things. I just wanted to show you the majesty of the Sphinx as she stands guard in front of this enormous object. Oh yeah, I've been there many times. It blows your mind every time you go there. It's just dynamic because you know that your ancestor was doing this not just for fashion, but there's a science in all of this and how they understood the universe, how they related to the universe. This is a tool, this is an instrument that was involved in their science, in their math, in their technology. And these magnificent structures is surrounded by multiple acres of other temples and buildings that go out for miles, you know, that we don't talk about very much. And this is the last of this is the grandson of the first builder. This is the brother that built the third pyramid. His brother built the second, and his father built the second, and his grandfather built the first. And this is Menkaure and his queen. And this is the 3 pyramids together. And you can see here they're smaller pyramids. These are the queen pyramids, which people really rarely talk about, but they're queen's pyramids beside the king's pyramids. But they weren't just burial places. There was much more going on in these pyramids than about burial. And part of what we did on Earth was to deal with as above, so below. We were imitating certain things in the cosmology in terms of our ecology. But that's for philosophy.
I got to do this real quick. I'm sorry. See, I just seen something very disturbing. And I looked on it at the right time, and it got sa.neter. Somebody made a YouTube channel called sa.neter, and they using my name.
All right, somebody, is this Sister Ma'at?
Uh-oh, we got to get ready for that one.
Yeah, you know, sometimes my brain gets, I know this is Hathor. This is either Het-Haru or Ma'at, but I'm thinking it's Ma'at because it's her feather there. But there's also another symbol. And sometimes they combine the goddess, but this is showing that the king has the power of the goddess. The essence of these goddess makes up his character in terms of the force and strength that he represents. This is Jeffrey. This is the 4th dynasty king. They broke off the brother's nose again, but it's clear you're dealing with a young African man. We're looking at Pharaoh Nefertiti, 5th dynasty. Again, it's clear he's just starting his locks. He's a young man, but you can clearly see they messed with his nose too. They broke off his beard, but he's an African man. And this is the pyramid complex at Abu Sir, 5th dynasty. We rarely see this complex. This one is this complex is you know, has a 3 pyramid complex also. It's younger than the great one that we accustomed to seeing, but showing there's over 120 something of the or 130 something pyramids in Kemet. But you can see the entire complex of buildings and sites around the complex. Now this is not the Giza Plateau complex. This is the Abu Sir pyramid complex, which we rarely look at. There, and a lot of deterioration is done there because, you know, we have our enemy runs Egypt now, so they don't take care of our ancient symbols except the ones they think are going to make a few dollars for them. But we need to know that we have other ancient symbols that represents different reflections of ourselves as we try to replicate what down below as we see above in terms of the cosmology. Usar-Kaf. This is the 5th dynasty king. Again, as you look at those nice African lips and that nose, I just want you to know that all of these pharaohs throughout from the beginning of Kemet till the end was all African men and women. This is the same pyramid complex, just another shot. This is not the 3 again at the plateau in Giza. This is the Abu Sir pyramid complex. This is the place where you also find the bent pyramid and the red pyramid, not far from the step pyramid at Saqqara. This is Pharaoh Teti, the 6th dynasty. And we're looking again at some other pyramids. This is pyramids of Pharaoh Sahurus and Pepi II near Saqqara. These are 6th dynasty pyramids. They've fallen into disarray, but they still exist, and you still know that you're in a pyramid complex with temples around them. This is Pharaoh Mentuhotep, the 2nd of the 11th dynasty. And I always make a joke, they had white paint that they use on his clothing, dark brown to black paint on his skin, and red paint on his hat. So if the Egyptians were red, they certainly had red paint. If they were white, they certainly had white paint, but no, they chose to paint him black. And his features tells you he's an African man. This one I love. This is from the walls of the tomb of Khemset, the wife of Pharaoh Mentuhotep. I don't know where they found these Asiatic, but they found them, and they left us there, and they're doing the sister's hair. So maybe that's what they're mad about. This is Princess Ushhed, the daughter of Pharaoh Mentuhotep. You can clearly see the princess is an African woman. And this is Pharaoh Amenemhat, 3rd Pharaoh in the 12th dynasty. Now this brother here, I just love him because he's just so African. It's crazy. I mean, he got his locks, and they sculpted in. This is him again. They broke off his nose, but it made no difference. This is him again. There's no way you can hide the blackness of Amenemhat the 3rd. The Black Pyramid of Amenemhat in the 12th dynasty. It also is into disarray, but it's still there for us to see. This is Pharaoh Senusret, 12th dynasty. He found Amenemhat, followed him to the throne. It's clear this is an African man. This is Pharaoh of Kemet. And I'm trying to show through this discussion is the Africanness of all of the dynasties. There is no such thing as no white folks running Kemet ever. You know, except where they invade us and took over our lands, but they weren't us. And we fought every day they were in our lands to get our lands back. So this is Senusret, the 12th dynasty. Pharaoh Nahesi, 13th dynasty. And then we ran into trouble. 1750 BC, the Hyksos invade Egypt. And Imhotep, this is the king of the Hyksos. And this is where they seem to have come from, somewhere in the Caucasus Mountains. And they made their way down the shoreline. This green area show the areas they're conquering as they come into Lower Egypt, Lower Kemet. I don't take the Pharaoh's hat. It'd be cool. And this is Pharaoh Nuperi. This is the 7th. He's the 17th dynasty. This is a dynasty, while the Hyksos is ruling in the north, our dynasties in our country is still going on. So when people talk, they talk about the Hyksos invasion like they invaded all of Africa. No, they invaded the northern part of Kemet, the northern part of the Nile Valley. But in the meantime, Kemet still functioned. Kemet was still going on. And this is one of the pharaohs of that dynasty. And I just threw this in, a Hyksos woman with her baby on her back. Because one thing we see about the Hyksos, they were a mixed racial group. They were not a European, straight out European grouping. So, yeah, and when you get serious about this, you got to check out the Hebrew thing, because 1700 BC is about the time they said Abraham came into the Nile Valley. Well, he must have came in with the Hyksos, because that's when they invaded the Nile Valley. And they would go out nearly 400 years later. So I wonder who that was, coming in and going out. But that's a discussion you need to have with our Hebrew brothers and sisters. They need to get serious about this history. This is Queen Imhotep I. She ruled Egypt with her husband Pharaoh Sequeneri Tau between 1590 to 1530 BC. They led the fight to drive the Hyksos invaders out. This is the mother of Chamos and Amos, these two bad dudes. Amos and Chamos.
Amos, I hear you, I see you, Amos.
And this is Pharaoh Sequeneri Tau. This is the father of Amos I. And this was a bad brother here, but his sons was bad. This is Chamos, who began the heavy war against the Hyksos. And this is his brother, Pharaoh Amos I, who continued that war against the Hyksos invaders. Then Pharaoh Thutmose, who is who's the grandson of the first brother I showed. Pharaoh Thutmose defeats the Hyksos and drives them out of Egypt. And this one, the baddest warrior in the history. We see Ramses as being a very bad warrior and a tough brother, but this little brother right here, he kicked ass and didn't take any names. And so it's very important to study his history. And this is Amos Nefertari. This is the wife of Thutmose I. This is her burial place. What's important about this is there's no Freemasons yet. There is no Solomon's temple yet. There is no Rome yet. There is no Greece yet. And look at this magnificent pillar temple carved right out of the living rocks. Okay? And even before Hatshepsut's temple, you can see there was an earlier temple there. Yep. Centuries before. This is a sculpting of Sister Hatshepsut. She wasn't the queen, she was the pharaoh of Egypt. And she wasn't the first woman pharaoh. Certainly not the only woman pharaoh, and not the first woman pharaoh. She got to be one of the best known of the female pharaohs. This is another shot, I think I took this one myself, of her temple. And this is her brother, Pharaoh Thutmose III, the brother of Pharaoh Hatshepsut. He takes over. This is another tough brother. He does a lot of building. He is the brother who constructs this enormous temple, which is the prototype for all Masonic temples. Even though they keep talking about this Temple of Solomon stuff, that ain't where it's at. I'm going to show you, you know. This is Tomb of Rekhmar, advisor for taxation, justice, and foreign affairs under Thutmose III. And I just wanted to show that even the workers and the technicians in Kemet were all black, of different shades of brown and black. Inside the Pillared Temple at Waset, this is the great temple that we built. We call it temple, but Dr. Asa Hilliard taught us that it's called Ipet-Isut. It is a university. It is a training facilities that train people from all over Africa and East Africa, which we now call the Middle East, during that period of time. This is where you come to study arithmetic, geometry, writing, medicine, and other sciences. This is another shot of, they built a mosque on the Grand Lodge of Waset. Now, if the Muslims are saying all of these things are profane and anti-Allah, why they built their sacred mosque right in the middle of it? Because certain people are slick enough to understand when you build on hallowed ground. You build on sacred ground. And that's why that mosque, and it's still there today. You see this part of the temple right here? You can fit the Greek Parthenon in there about 8 or 9 times, if not more. And that's just one small piece of the temple. Let me show you. This is Brother Thutmose III Sphinx. Clearly you can see this is an African brother here. All right? Pharaoh of Kemet, 18th dynasty. This is Thutmose again. I just like to show him because we was out. Is that black enough for you? I mean, that's what we got to get with. They just trying to take our stuff. And so I just want to show you throughout our existence, it's all been black. This is the tomb of the noble. Noble Rekmar again, Vada under Thutmose. And I just wanted to show you that the Tekken is already a part of our cultural institutions. Well, I forgot what they use this as a plow, but you'll also see it used as a part of the masonry tools, which I'll show you later as we get down. When Thutmose jumped on the Hyksos and drove them out, these were our original borders. And then he took our borders all the way to the Tigris, Euphrates, all the way up to Turkey, over to Rome and Greece. He expanded the borders of Kemet. And that's when a lot of people began to learn about us and began to hear about us. He conquered all of what is the Mediterranean. This is Brother Thutmose III, you know. And then when we see the, let me see what space I want to talk about. Yeah. So each of these spaces, we got these darker spaces here. The rim shows you where he took the kingdom of Kemet and conquering after that first invasion. And so what we get here is showing the kingdoms that we have in relationships with during the Amarna period. That's throughout the 18th dynasty period, right throughout the period of Akhenaten and King Tut. And these are the Tekkens built by Thutmose. Remember these because these are very important symbol in Freemasonry. Any cemetery you go into America, when you see abundance of these, many of them have the Masonic symbol on them, you know that that's where the ruling elite of America is buried. And one is up on 233rd Street and Webster Avenue. Hundreds of them are there. And that was the ruling elite of New York who was buried there. This is the tomb of sa.neter, who was the mayor of Thebes under Imhotep II. And I just wanted to show you the magnificent work that's being done in one of these tombs back in that day. This is all underground. These people who build these things had to be scientists. They knew geometry. They had to know trigonometry to get the stuff up and down those long stairs. They had to know algebra because of the pieces and the parts and the unknowns that had to be calculated and measured. So the arithmetic, the mathematics, the geometry, and the science necessary. And forget about the chemistry. The chemistry is off the hook because the colors are still there thousands of years later. So that's how our chemistry was tight. That meant we were well learned, well studied for centuries, thousands of centuries. Again, Amenhotep I, the son of Amos Nefertari, and the brother of Mutanofret, and the second pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. Next is Amenhotep II, or Thutmose III, and then Amenhotep III, who's the father of Akhenaten. I just wanted to show you and see how black they are. They sculpt these things while they were alive. They tell you what they look like. You don't need nobody to draw nothing or to put somebody in a movie. They're showing you, you don't get no blacker than this. Amenhotep III, the 9th king of the 18th dynasty, father of Akhenaten and the husband of Queen Tai. Looks like any other young black man walking around in the streets of Harlem or LA or Frisco or Chicago. Then the great Queen Tai, the wife of Pharaoh Amenhotep III and the mother of Pharaoh Akhenaten Amenhotep IV. Tai is an extraordinary lady. She and her husband, they ruled for almost 60 years. Now here's a close-up of a statue of Tai. I think this one is in the German museum. It's a very small statue, but it lets you see very clearly this is an African woman straight up. Here she is as a younger girl. It's probably a teenager in her late teen. Look like any other young African sister walking around the streets of Harlem right now. but that's the great Queen Ty of Kemet. This is her son, Pharaoh Akhenaten of the 18th dynasty, founder of monotheism, and I want to change that. He's not the founder of monotheism, he reintroduces monotheism as a concept, and is the husband of Queen Nefertiti and the father of King Tut. Now his queen, Nefertiti, was not from Kemet, and she was from this area up here, which is called the Kingdom of Mitanni, which would be what is northern Syria, where northern Syria touches on Lebanon, that area, or touches on Turkey. That was called Mitanni, and that's where she came from. And she was actually supposed to marry his father, but the father died. That was a bond of peace between the Kingdom of Mitanni and Kemet, but the father died, so the mother had her marry the brother, you know. But she was an African woman, so we're going to look at how African she is. So we see her mother-in-law, we know she African sister, tough-looking sister too. That's her, again, Queen Ty's a young lady. That's her son Akhenaten. There go Akhenaten again. You don't get no blacker than that. Is it black enough for you? That's what we need to ask. When crackers talk to us, flash these up in their face and ask, is this black enough for you? Trying to just steal our images, steal our history, steal our essence, because we don't know how to bond ourselves into ourselves. But we'll get there. This is a painting of Akhenaten and Nefertiti and sculpting on the walls. Look at this man. It don't get no blacker. Look at sister, okay, with her locks, you know. This is Nefertiti. Yep. Not that false statue in the museum in Germany now. And this is Brother Akhenaten. This is another sculpture of Nefertiti. Those are African lips there. They can break off the nose. They ain't make no difference. But this is another sculpture of Nefertiti. The real Queen Nefertiti. Is that black enough for you? She had this chisel while she was alive, so she know what she looked like. So they take a statue and refigure it and put it in a book and give us in a history book. But this is the real Nefertiti right here. And I'm just trying to show you the black is black. Kemet was black from its inception till today, even though it's occupied by mixed breed and white folks. An artist's rendition of the city of El Amarna, which was the capital that Akhenaten and Nefertiti would build. And this you can see is a magnificent city, but this is an artist's rendition. But let's look at the real thing. This is the ruins of Tel El Amarna. You can see it was a magnificent city. Look at the big boulevard. Look at the streets. Look at the magnificent housing and temples that was built there. And you can see it was laid out in grids. This is a scientifically constructed city. That means you got to know math, you got to know geometry, you got to know trigonometry, you got to do arithmetic, and you got to be into the basic sciences. And this is their son, Tut, the son of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. Is that black enough for you? Yes, sir. They chisel his blackness in gold. This is his sister, Princess Makitaten, the daughter of Akhenaten and Nefertiti, and the sister of King Tut and Semkara, which is his brother. Is she black enough for you? She look like any kid off of the corner in any of our community or in any of our family, wearing her hair in her locks, looking just like the little black girl she is. And we know they had white paint, but they certainly didn't choose to use it on her. Another shot of King Tut, one of the famous statues, just to show you the nose to the lips and on. And this is him again. He had this painted while he was alive. King Tut in his apron. This is where I want to start checking out Masonry. This thing is called a mace in Freemasonry. This is what's carried by all of the Grand Masters of the lodge when they're presiding over the lodge. And this is the apron that he's wearing. So we're going to revisit that later. But I got a lot more to go. I just want to show the blackness. Here's King Tut and his black wife and his black self. And there's another shot of King Tut, so you can really get a good shot. This is one of the canopic jars that has his intestines and stuff in it, so you can get another look at how they saw themselves while they were alive or shortly after their death. This is how they saw themselves. Another shot of King Tut as a young boy. Is that black enough for you? These are the rulers of Africa, and at that time, the rulers of the world, as far as we knew the world. From the walls of King Tut's tomb, they had white paint and they had brown paint. And they choose to use the white paint for garments and the brown paints for the skin. I put this up because the sisters is playing the harp. And you know the harp, everybody try to claim the harp. This sister is playing what is a lute or what would become a banjo or a guitar. And another sister is playing a flute. So we've got all these instruments. There's no England, France, Germany, Greek. These are all barbarians running around the woods, chasing each other, painting one another blue and stuff, living in caves. When we up here, sister wearing cotton or linen and playing a harp. And when you lay the harp down and strike it with little wooden keys, it becomes a piano. But that's study. Ancient African medical books before Greece or Rome. A scene of medical tools and equipment with the women sitting on the birth chair, something they're just rediscovering today. They're sitting on a birth chair, giving birth while sitting down is the safest, healthiest, most unobtrusive way for a woman to give birth to a child. And these are different instruments that you can see that we were using during those days. So our medicine was advanced. It wasn't just herbal medicine. It was surgery. It was obstetrics. It was other abdominal medicine. We were into all the aspects of medicine, including brain surgery. This I thought I'd throw in because I thought this was like hell on fantastic right here. A tweezer found in King Tut's tomb. Now this is deep. They can't even hold claim to a tweezer because we done beat them to it. A tweezer. You know how significant that is? That conceptually you can come up with a tweezer? I know y'all think I'm being funny. But a tweezer, that's deep. You know? Now we run into another invader, the Hittites, coming out of what we know as Turkey and near the Caucasus Mountain. This group would again invade our land. And they would come in and they will run into a brother who will become the founder of the 19th dynasty. The Hittites will invade at the end of the 18th dynasty and bring the 18th dynasty to an end after the death of Tut being the major figure in the 18th dynasty, but there were a few other kings in between. But Ramses would come, he's not coming off of the bloodline of the house of the Amenophis, but he's coming off of, it'll come to me. But anyway, it's an African bloodline, and you can clearly see that Ramses I is an African man. And then we get to Ramses II as an African man. And then we get to the bad brother. Again, this is Ramses II, a builder of Abu Simbel, and the king who drove the Hittites out of Egypt. Clearly a young African king. And he builds Abu Simbel in his likeness. And this is Abu Simbel. The European under Napoleon comes and they're painted, and they clearly understand these are African peoples, so they paint them as African men. This is the Ramesseum, a temple in Luxor, Egypt, that contained public kitchen and school for workers of the children, or the children of the workers, I'm sorry. They had a public kitchen and they had a school for the workers' children. That's an advanced social concept. There's no Greece yet. There's no Rome yet. There's no America. There's no England. And yet, in the Ramesseum, you've got a public kitchens and you got school for the workers' children. You're talking about social construct. That's an enormous social construct in ancient Kemet. Pharaoh Seti I of the 19th dynasty with his locks. You know, they had black paint. They had brown paint. So we didn't just get brown when we got over here with white folks. We was brown when we was over there in Kemet. And so brown ain't nothing but a shade of black. And so here we are, magnificent painting, the magnificence of the chemistry used, that the pigments of these paints still survive to this day. This is the hypostyle hall, a temple of Amun at Karnak, again of the 19th dynasty. There's no pillar temple in Greece yet, no pillar temple in Ionia or Dorian or Rome. They don't exist yet. And look at the magnificent pillar temples that's existing in the 19th dynasty. Pharaoh Merneptah, 19th dynasty. This is a gold mask, but I just wanted to show you this is an African man, Pharaoh of the 19th dynasty. Temple of Amun-Ra at Karnak, 1,003 out of 10, 1,200, again, a 19th dynasty temple. And again, I wanted to show the pillar temple concept because in Freemasonry, they put a lot on the pillar temple concept and what this Pillar Temple is all about. And then they talk about the Ionian and the Dorian and refer back to the Greeks. Well, all of these Pillar Temples you've been watching exist, and there is no Greece yet, there's no Rome yet, there's no Ionian, there's no Dorian. None of that exists. They're just barbarians in the woods running away when they see us coming. This is Pharaoh Amenemepi, 19th dynasty. This is the tomb of the nobles, again from that dynasty. I wanted to show that the concept of the checker square was already in existence. We were using it as a part of our decorative arts, and that becomes significant when we start studying geometry later on, and when we pop up with the chessboard, which you'll see in this. Again, this is a tomb of Mena at Nakhet. I wanted to just show the concept of the Holy of Holies, and you'll see that the concept which will become central in all Western churches and even in the mosque is this concept of the Holy of Holies at the very back of the temple. I just threw this in because I thought it was a pretty picture right here. So that we were masters of the sea as well as masters of the land. And this is Ramses III, the second ruler of the 20th dynasty, being blessed by Heru on one side and Set on the other. Now in the West we always tend to make Set the devil and Heru, but that's not true at all.
Right, Reggie said that.
You know, yeah, Brother Reggie lays this out nicely, and you'll need to go to Brother Reggie about this, because Seth represents one set of quality and attributes any strong man needs to have in his character.
All you gotta do is look
And
at his hand.
yeah, he's got the Ankh. Both of them carrying the Ankh of life in their hands.
That's right.
And Heru represent another set of quality and attributes that all men need to have in their character. And when you have Set and Heru in your character, you in balance with Ma'at. You in harmony. But that's not what this is about. I just want to show the blackness of it.
Right.
You know, this is the temple built by Ramses III. I did this for the magnificence of the pillars. There's no Greece, there's no Rome, there's no Parthenon, there's none of those things yet. All of the pillar temples that you've seen is built, and we ain't bumped into a white man yet. Usamir Ramses III of the 20th dynasty, wearing his Masonic apron, carrying his mace, just as you saw King Tut wearing his. All of the pharaohs were the grand masters of the temple, of the craft. Pharaoh Ramses III again. I just want to show you how black he is. So you look, you know that all of the pharaohs. Now we way up here. This is his sarcophagus, which I thought was a nice one. This is Ramses III mortuary temple at Medinet and Habu in Luxor, Egypt. And this is the front of his mortuary temple. This is where he's buried. And this is where they do the prayers and stuff for him. And this is the inside. And I just thought these pillars were just magnificent pillars in the way they're designed. And look at the size of the pillars relative to the human beings. And yet, there's no Greece yet. There's no Parthenon yet. There's no Rome yet. So my Masonic brothers, whose pillar temples are we talking about here? You know, we'll get to that. Pharaoh Susenes I, the 21st dynasty, another gold mass. This remains the 21st dynasty temple of Amun-Ra. So that we were building temples everywhere. This is the Philae temple at Aswan. Even though this was rebuilt, the concept of the pillar temples exists before there's anything on the other side of the Mediterranean. So when we talk about the pillar temple representing the foundation construct of Masonic stability, when we look at it symbolically, then you've got to come to Kemet. This is Shoshengi of the 22nd dynasty, thought to be the biblical Shishak, mentioned in the book of Kings. Is he black enough for you? Now we haven't seen any non-black pharaohs from the first dynasty. We're now at the 22nd dynasty. This is the 23rd dynasty, said to be a Libyan dynasty. And so when we look at even the people who are depicted as Libyans, who are supposed to be ruling in the 23rd dynasty, they got the Ankh in their hands, and they're Africans, okay? Because, you know, they tried to make the Libyans white people somehow, and somehow they just show up over there as white from nowhere. And so, again, we're getting now to where we run into some real serious invasions. We get in the Assyrian Empire rising up in 1,800, going to 1,600 BC. So they're going to again move on us, and we're going to find ourselves in deep trouble. Once the Assyrian moves in, we took quite a beating. So this yellow you'll see is the emperor, and they come all the way down to Thebes, and we had war with them for quite a while. And this is one of the Assyrian king, Shalmaneser. This is how he looked. Now we're getting with the real white folks. I found these are supposed to be exiled Hebrew musicians, a relief from Nineveh in 678 BC. During that period of the Assyrian invasion, you see they got locks. You clearly see that they're Africans, and you see that their beards, as the little dot wants to let you know that that's nappy beards. So we go further. The ancient Hebrews being taken into captivity by the Assyrians from the palace walls at sa.neter. That's the 680 BC. The Assyrians got their long curly hair, and the Africans have their little dots. So those who call themselves Hebrews can say they're Africans, but they got to explain what that means relative to the rest of the Africans. They weren't special. They got to say how they got caught in the catch-22 of the invaders and had to set up based on what they had left. I think it's Ivan Van Sertima that talk about if you take an egg and you smash it, the eggshells shatter in all these little pieces. So people take a piece of the eggshell and say, I'm the egg. But they represent only a piece of the shattered eggshell. Oh, yeah, I threw this up because we be talking about this Abrahamic stuff all the time. So circumcision in Kemet before Abraham. See right here, the brother is tying off the penis so he can stop the flow of blood. So when they cut off the skin, he won't bleed to death. And this is the brother here carrying out the actual task. And so even in their own literature, they claim that Abraham was told by the Canaanites, who was also clearly Kemetians and Africans, that he couldn't come among them because he was unclean, and the Canaanites circumcised him. So that's not a Hebrew tradition, that's an African tradition. And then we have this brother showing up on the scene. After the Assyrians had beat up on us for some time, out popped the 25th dynasty and a brother from down around Sudan named, this is Pianki. That's the brother of Shabaka and the uncle of Taharka. So, and this is his brother Shabaka, 25th dynasty, waged war against the Assyrian invaders. He's just as black as his brother. They broke off his nose too. But let's look at him again, how they painted themselves. The Pharaoh Shabaka and his queen. I don't know whether this is original paint or it and it may well be, because we were black and we were brown. He's from deeper Sudan, so he might be a little darker than a sister who might have been born around Aswan or Luxor. This is his son, Prince Horameket, son of Shabaka, and the high priest of Amun in Thebes during the reign of his father and his two successors. One of those successors would be his brother. So if you think he don't look black enough, he's a black young man with an ankh around his neck who is the priest. But let's look at his brother. Pharaoh Taharka, son of Shabaka, succeeds in driving the Assyrian invaders out of Egypt. He's the only pharaoh mentioned in the Bible, I should say, by name, by his actual name. And it's the book of Isaiah. And in the book of Isaiah, they refer to him as king of Egypt and all the world. This is their prophets saying that this man is king of Egypt and all the world. And for the Israelites to stand down, because he's going to save the Israelites from the Assyrians. And that's him. Look like any young brother walking around Chi-Town, walking around L.A., walking around Frisco or Alabama or South Carolina or even Harlem. It's another statue of Taharka. This is one of his sphinx. And this is Pharaoh Tenwet-Sumani. He's the last pharaoh of the 25th dynasty. They broke off his brother's nose too, but the lips still tell the story. He looked like my old friend Isham Jabba. And I don't want to make no fuss about it. I don't want to get in no trouble with my brothers now, because I don't know. This don't look, he ain't no more, but he got on a fez.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd drop him up in there with his fez.
Yeah,
He come up out of the Sudan. He don't know nothing about no Islam. Islam ain't born yet.
Right. He looked like Melchizedek that was out there on the 125th on Sundays.
Tenwet-Sumani, the last ruler of the 25th dynasty. Then we get Sa.neter, first pharaoh of the 26th dynasty, shows some Egyptian soldiers. But this I wanted to get in. How many people have seen Bohan? Of course, this is the reproduction based on the history that has been left. Bohan is a fortress at Aswan, Egypt, 1,700 BC. Now, you ever seen anything like that? No. There ain't no castles in England yet, people. All right? So this is the fortress at where Aswan is today, 1,700 BC. The ancient Nubian kingdom of Kush, 1,500 BC to 4 BC, and what we call the Sudan today. I'm standing. No, I'll take my shoes off because I'm doing all this standing and moving about. You know, I'm not young like y'all no more. I just wanted to put this information on record. Now remember, all of this stuff I'm saying, you can see there's so much work to be done. Any one of these figures you can do research on. You can study and learn so much. I just want to give you the pantheon so you can see who we are through thousands of years. And the other folks is not even on the scene yet. A Nubian head in Sudan. Don't get no blacker than that, with the same locks. This locks thing that we tried to claim our brothers in Jamaica. You didn't invent the locks, brothers. You brought it from Africa with you. It was the hairstyle of the priest and the priestess. Pyramids of Nubia. Now, Kemet have about, I think, 134 or something like that of these pyramids. Sudan, though they have much smaller ones, they have close to 290 something or 300 of them. So there's much more of these in Sudan. And this is part of what some of the necropolis looks like there. This Jebel Barkel, a temple at Kerma in Sudan. And what's significant? Remember the two temples. Remember these two pillars. And you will see these two pillars in front of every temple. They're significant because you do not go into any Masonic lodge except you walk between the two temples. And they have specific names for them. Again, this is Pyramids of Nubia, of which there are 223. Okay, that's the right number. This is up there just to give an artist rendition of what our people looked like back then. Meroitic Sudan, 1st, 2nd centuries AD. You had the Meroitic warrior, you have the Sudanese tribal warrior, and you have the Meroitic ladies. Meroe was one of the great kingdoms there. Sudan is a very big place. And these are some of the pyramids that still exist in Sudan today. And like I said, I'll be in Sudan this summer, God's and the ancestors willing, and I'll have a chance to visit Kerma and the great mountain Jebel and Meroe to kind of look at some of this for myself. I'd like to start writing my book on spirituality in the fall, but I've got to go to some places before I start that journey. And so this summer, I should spend some time in the Congo, some time in Angola, some time in Sudan, Kemet, Ghana. Then I'll come back home. So let's just hope all of that works out. Some of your little dockets can help me out today. Buying those plane tickets. And Nubian king of Kush on the temple wall in Meroe, Sudan. So you see he's wearing his locks, you know. You see he's sitting on a throne that is the lion, you know. You see he's writing in a writing system that is the same as a glyph. You see he's clearly an African. And this is in Sudan, not Kemet. The ancient African Aksum kingdom becomes important. This is what's now called Ethiopia today. But this kingdom is existing during the same time that Kemet is existing. And there's some extraordinary things about this king. We know about this lady through history. This is a facsimile of her, because nobody really had a sculptor of her. This is supposed to be a Queen Makeda, or the Queen of Sheba. This is the ruins of the Queen of Sheba Palace in Aksum, Ethiopia. But the Kanzaki queens, those who ruled, live in this palace. It's a massive complex. I was there once about 10 years ago. And I'm sure there's much more work has been done than what we see in this picture in excavating the site. This is another pictorial representation of the Queen of Sheba, or the Queen of Ethiopia, during the period of time when the Hebrews say they existed. Why would a lady with all this wealth need to go up and lay and hoe around with some little desert cat trying to get some sheep to function in the desert called Solomon is beyond me, but that's the mythology they've created to tie themselves to African history and to give some credibility to them as a people. This is the alleged home of the Ark of the Covenant. You know, they talk about this Ark of the Covenant, but nobody can produce it. And the only people in the world that got the testicles to say they got it is the Ethiopians. And they said it's in this complex, which is inside of an electric fence and guards with AK-47 guards this thing. So you can't get in there, so I can't tell you whether they got it or not. They claim it was brought back there by the son of Solomon and Makeda. This is another shot of the temple and of one of their churches. This is the obelisk and ruin. These are Tekkens in Ethiopia. And this Tekken are taller than any of the ones in Kemet. What's weird about this, you see these little spots on these Tekkens? What are they?
I don't know.
They're windows. It's a skyscraper. They're windows. All of these little windows, right? And then at the bottom there's a door. I've been there. I've touched it. And I'm going like, whoa. They had this concept of a multi-level building, door and windows. I said, and that's deep. We need to really get into that. But they have a lot of Tekkens there. They don't have the pointed style of the pyramid on the top. They're round at the top. This is a Hebrew sister in Ethiopia. This is what they look like there. This is an ancient castle at Gondor. When these are built, there's no castle in England. There's no castle in France. There's no castle in Italy. Ancient Kingdom of Zimbabwe, I'm showing because in order to build, again, look at this. This is impeccable masonry work. They're brick masons. They're scientists. They're people who are putting these complexes together with the skills which we are told comes out of Europe with the European Freemason. And while these are being built, there's no Freemasonry in European, there's no cathedrals in European, there's no castles in Europe. So that does that. Ancient Kingdom of Zimbabwe, there's no Europe yet. Look at this magnificent wall that makes up this magnificent city. There's no cement holding those rocks together. They're fashioned to fit in place by the Freemasons of their day. Here's another close shot at those rocks. No, there's no cement. Cement hadn't been invented yet. It's just the skills, the knowledge. This is another shot of just different scenes of the different complexes. This is in Great Zimbabwe, which spread for tens and tens of miles. This is an artist's rendition of what one of those complexes would look like, with the different houses for storage of grain, where workers sleep, where the owners slept, where the corral where the animals was in, how you got up on the wall to guard and protect the compound. I got this from Brother Reggie. I've been reading this book, still reading this book. But I saw a piece on television, the History Channel, where they were looking at these complexes in South Africa. There are thousands of them, but that cracker under apartheid wouldn't let the world have access to none of this information. Brother Reggie turned me on to this book, and he sent me this book through the computer, Temple of the African Gods. And I put this up there because there's something else he pointed out to me that just blew my mind, and it still blows my mind. It's an Ankh life carved in the center of a carving of the sun, Ra, in a volcanic rock of South Africa, thousands of years before the first dynasty, Kemet. There it is. The Ankh and Ra. That's deep. That wipes out almost everything. As Reggie said, this changed the trajectory of all of what we ever thought was history. But I'm not here to go into detail. I just wanted to show you how black we are, how deep we are, how old we are, how much before any of this other stuff we have been and we still are. Then we get hit with another invasion. 552 BC to 44 BC is the Persians. Now these are some black folks from the east. Okay, this is Darius, king of Persia. They never tell you he's black. You have to look at the statues to see he's black and he's got nappy hair. You know, and at that time when he invades is Amtios, Pharaoh 28th dynasty, 404 BC. And then there's the 30th dynasty. This is the last of the African dynasty. And after this, after the Persian invasion, we're in trouble because they'll be followed by the Greeks, then by the Romans, then by the Arabs, and we never really get Kemet back again. The closer we have to giving somebody on the throne that is a true Kemetian blood would be the brother Abdel Nasser and Majib, I think, who was working with him, and the brother they assassinated, the president of Egypt who was assassinated. They were Nubians, and they came to the throne, but they were the first in centuries. This is the gold mask from the 30th dynasty. Then we get the second Persian invasion. Those brothers managed to drive the Persians out, but the Persians will come back again. And the second invasion in 343 and 332 BC. But what I wanted to show is what the Persians looked like. They were black at that time. And they painted themselves as such with nappy hair. And this is an ancient glazed brick art, make up the Babylonian procession wall, which leads to the gates of Ishtar, which are on display at the Pergamon Museum in Germany.
Who's that on the right? Who's that?
This is Xerxes. This is the palace of Xerxes. This is one of their king. You can see that they're still African. This is the Persians.
I'm showing you the umbrella too.
Yeah, and the umbrella is still a part of African tradition to this day. But look at the wasp that the Yoruba use, that he's waving over the king's head. So
like
this,
they got on feds too.
I swear he got on a fez. So this is a black culture that invades Kemet from the east. Of course, they will later be invaded. This is the close-up of that picture of the Persian archers, and let you know, are they black enough for you? And so, again, this is Darius of Persia. These are indigenous Iranians. These are the indigenous. These are the Aborigines. These are black folks serving in the Iranian army today who are Iranians. They're not imported there. And I remember the first time, I think was me and Reggie together. We were coming through, I don't know if the Reggie was with me. I was bringing a group from Dr. Ben. We were coming back through Jordan. And there was this beautiful blue-black sister serving us. So me and some of the brothers, I think me and Brother X, some of the others, be arguing about, is she from Nigeria? Is she from Ghana? Is she from Mali? So I was being the brave one. I go and ask the sister. She said, no, I'm Jordanian. I was like, no, I want to know where your ancestors from. She says, we are the Jordanian. My ancestors is the Jordanian. And when we got to the hotel, when she got off, she came and had dinner with us and told us more about the history of the original Jordanian, who was black blue people. And that flipped my mind into a whole turnaround on things. And then comes the Greek in 332 BC. And you can see, they come out of Macedonia, north of Greece. And this is under this general Alexander. And he conquers this area. And he's eventually murdered over here. And by his generals, after he killed his half-brother, who was a black dude, who was his bodyguard. He killed the only man that was keeping him alive from the white boys. And so after he kills his brother, he's murdered, and then his wife, who's an Egyptian woman, and his son is then murdered. They don't talk about that much in history, but it's something that we need to know to understand how they behave. Now this is their Parthenon. Now tell me, does this even compete with all of the pillar temples that you've seen? Does it even come close? No. This is ridiculous that this has been posited to the world. And you see what a white man looks like. Philip of Macedonia, the father of Alexander, so-called the Great. This is Alexander, the so-called Great of Greece, who carried out the murder and the genocide of people in Kemet and East Africa, right into what is now almost at the borders of India, before he was murdered by his own generals for their greed and envy and jealousy. Another statue of him. And this shows, the extent of the Ptolemaic kingdom. His general, Ptolemy, then when he's dead, one of his main generals take this part of his kingdom. Other generals take this part, and other generals, took this part. They said, kill him, let's divide up the spoils. And so this Ptolemy, he would rule Kemet, not the entire Kemet, parts of Kemet, And his children, one of his great-great-children, or great-granddaughter, we'll get to it in a minute, but this is the Canaanite god El. He's wearing the Egyptian crown. So if your God is wearing the crown of Kemet, then you must be of Kemet. But if you look at El, you can see he's an African. His nose goes from here to here. And another side, this is the god of the Canaanite, right? But this is a Canaanite woman. Is she black enough for you? You know? And they didn't call themselves Moors either. Even though the brother got on affairs, that's God. That's hell. I dropped this one because I was trying to find some images of the what do you call it? The Philistine. And so the carving of a Philistine warrior was found among the ruins at Thebes, Egypt. It dates back to 1200 BC. So that's the best one I could find. But it's clear enough to see that he's African. He's wearing his locks up, but he's an African man. Then we get back to the white man. The nose tell the story.
Yeah.
You know, the nose tell the story. Yeah. This is the Thelemy. This is the general. This is the facsimile of the general, one of Alexander's general, who takes over northern Kemet. And this is either one of his great-great-granddaughters. But by this time, since Kemet is not being fed by more whites from Greeks in a large enough number, they marry into the black family, and the family becomes black again. So by the time we get to Cleopatra, who's at the time of the Roman Empire, Cleopatra is a title, not a name. And so this is the Cleopatra that we're talking about when we're talking about the invasion of the Romans. And so she comes from that bloodline of the Ptolemy, but also the bloodline of the black women he was raping and called his wives. And you see this happen if you go to Ghana, to a place called Anamabu. You'll get to something called Brew House, where they ran the big slave trade out of. When they privatized the slave trade, this cat named Brew married the daughter of the king. But then as time went on, the family went from being almost white back to being jet black and black. And we sat with, his great-great-great-granddaughter and so forth over there, who was a black woman with her black children. And the same thing occurred here in Kemet. They went from the Thelemy and the white skin, from the rapists and the invaders, back to the black folks. And you can see she's a black woman. I have two other statues of her. This is the Cleopatra of the time of the Roman invasion. This is Mark Antony, the Roman general that supposedly had this relationship with Cleopatra when Cleopatra and him supposedly committed suicide in the play written by Shakespeare. And so what this is all about, this is the Roman Empire in red, and this is about money, okay? This is about controlling trade routes. They're not invading Kemet because they just want to go hang out. They see these people got technology. These people have gold. These people have linen. These people have cotton. These people have wheat. These people have barley. We need that to run an empire to feed our armies we're sending around the world. So that's the necessity for invading. So invasion is not just about taking over some place. Invasion is getting access to the Silk Route to get into China, getting access to India so you can get access to the myrrh and the spices and other things to preserve meat, access to salt. That's what this war is all about. And this is the Roman Empire at a particular time in history. You can see they conquered what was called to them the known world and the northern part of Africa. So out of this will come the word Moor. It is out, Latin doesn't develop in Europe, Latin develops here in North Africa. It's really a North Africa innovative language, not a European language, but they've taken it as theirs. But as any linguistic would show, Greek and Rome, all those languages will emanate out of the Kemetic language system, including the Hebrew, Again, this shows you what they were fighting about. The Roman Empire at AD 200, now they've taken over northern Kemet, they've taken over the Mediterranean basin in southern Europe, and what they're trying to get access to is the grain, marble, metals, olive oil, textile, timber, wild animals, and wine. That's what they're invading us for.
All right. You already know Dr. Inky, Elder Yara, show your asses up. I see y'all going in on the chat. Inky is calling out Black Sage and Inky. If y'all want to smoke, bring y'all asses in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Just as that same reason they're invading Africa today. Nothing has changed, okay, except our minds. And if we put our minds back to where it should be, we'll have another world. Constantine, Emperor of Rome, who started Christianity, that's what he looks like according to him. So that's the devil. This is the Hagia Sophia, the first great church of Christianity, the Eastern Orthodox Church, the senior church of the Byzantine Empire. Remember, Byzantine was the Eastern Roman Empire after the Germans destroyed Rome and took over Italy. And so here's another shot of the Hagia Sophia. After it was taken over by the Muslims, they built these minarets. Today it's
Man, oh man. Alexa, listen, man. Alexa, stop. Man, listen. Professor Smalls went in. I see we got Apostle in the building. We got Elder Suntan in the building. He went in, man. I see Apostle was talking his talk like he always do.
Yeah, he was talking stuff.
Yeah.
Just telling truth, man.
But anyway, what's going on, Apostle?
You know it.
What's
The
the truth
truth
about
is, you know it. I ain't mad at you.
And he was telling the truth as he know it.
Right, that's what we all
It's
do.
all right.
Yeah,
It's all right.
it's all good.
Don't
That's
play
what we all
games with
do.
me.
Hey, Apostle, you missed a great show yesterday. You've been missing. I know you've been a little down a little bit,
I've
but
been
you
watching.
some great shows, brother.
I've been watching.
Who you rolling with? Who you rolling with?
Speak back.
Who are you rolling with? Inky or Unc on this Charles Darwin theory?
Inky.
Woo, damn. Now I'm gonna tell you something. Oh, yeah. That's true. All right, I got you. Damn, so you rolling with Inky. Inky got a little flow going, man.
It's a slight edge to Inky. It's just that Unc don't know what the hell he talking about, man.
I don't know what he talking about. He just
He don't know what he's talking about,
Yeah, he
man.
know.
He doesn't
Man,
know.
Unc know what he talking about. Y'all crazy, man. Y'all just not on that level, man. Unc know exactly what he talking about.
His talking, his information comes from when we went to school, man. The same information that they taught us in school. Come on, man.
sort of, but Inky get more in depth with he get more personal with the
Damn,
individual.
don't tell me Inky taking over this shit, man.
What I didn't appreciate the day.
Hey, Apostle, you look more healthy, brother.
Sure,
I
I'm looking at your face and everything. It's like
weight. You lost some weight.
You look a lot healthier right now, brother. I'm happy for you.
I was hurt.
Yeah.
More so, I had an infection in my body
Right.
that I didn't know about.
You lost
Right.
weight too,
And going
right?
into the hospital, I found out about it. I had septic poison in my body.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey, I see I got Black Sage in the building. Black Sage, hit your ass on the panel. Let's talk about it. Inky calling you out, man.
Yeah.
Inky calling you out. Go ahead. What you think about the presentation, Apostle?
Professor Small knows his stuff. And I give him ups, I give him respect, and I'm not going to disrespect him because he is an elder.
Right.
But just because I disagree with some of the things he's saying, it don't mean I'm disrespecting him.
That's right. Who said that? You're exactly
Okay?
right.
So I want to keep it right.
Yeah.
Now, the Hyksos, he got that right. The Hyksos were Hebrews, not Israelites, but they were Hebrews. Okay? They were born of Abraham's other sons from that lot, not from Jacob. In order to be an Israelite, you have to be the seed of Jacob. That's a whole total different family.
But see, here's the thing, though, Apostle. Here's the thing for you, Apostle, and for you, Elder Suntan.
What's
See,
that?
Professor Smalls was dealing with real stuff, real history.
He's
Y'all
dealing with,
hold on, let me finish.
well, you
Yeah.
did just
Y'all
interrupt me.
dealing with belief stuff, make belief and faith and all of that. This
you
is
talking
why
about
you
me?
would never
Don't
be
be
able.
deceived.
Hold on,
He's
brother.
dealing with a lot of belief.
Apostle, I see you left and you coming back, brother. We got to establish some rules here, brother.
Right.
Brother,
We got to establish some rules.
just
When I
interrupted
talk, please don't interrupt me. And I'll try not to interrupt you because you long-winded as hell. You don't have a stop button. You don't know when to stop. So I'm gonna let you talk, but I'm trying to tell you the reason why it's foreign to you guys is because you're dealing with a belief system, make believe people.
So
You're not dealing with real history, brother.
You got me twisted, sir.
Oh, okay. See,
I don't know what you're talking about because I've been trying to tell you.
dealing
Hold
with
on.
Professor.
Let me say this, sir.
Yeah.
What pulled me away from the Abrahamic faith of Christianity was the chronology, man. Because, and you remember the question I used to always ask, like I used to be when you first heard that question.
Yeah, I like that question.
Yeah, but I didn't had a whole lot of study since then. And today, just in the chat, I was telling people, you know, you got to know where you started from to know where you want to go. Now, Apostle here right now. So if we in Egypt right now, and you heard Professor Smalls mention how the Hebrews came in, who was here first? So how could the Adam and Eve story come into play when Egypt was here first, Apostle?
All right, stop. First of all, when he was talking about somebody 70,000 years, 80,000 years, no, we don't know nothing about no 80,000 years ago. We don't know nothing. Carbon dating does not go that far back.
What we saying, we talking about
that's belief.
Let me say this to you,
No, hold on, man.
Hold on, Suntan, one at a time. Let him go.
He can go.
I just got the mic. When you come up talking about somebody 70,000, that's not truth. That's belief.
Okay, let's talk back and forth.
Stop. No, stop. Let me say what I was saying.
You too long.
Suntan, if you don't cut him off, Suntan, he'll be finished. Let him go.
Let me say what I was saying.
Go ahead.
So when you get there, even the hieroglyphics on the wall, the nectar on the wall, it don't have no dates about when that was written. It doesn't even say who wrote it.
Right.
Who's the author of it? You don't know when that stuff was written, when those pictures were drawn. You don't know that. That's that white man coming up here with this crap, man. You don't know these stories, man. So don't sit there and just say, because I believe, crap on me because I believe. You know why? That makes what I have more stronger than what he has. It's regarded as more greater. He has to see in order to believe. I don't care about how big Africa is. What is that going to do for me? I don't care about whose skin is black. What is that doing for me? You ain't got nothing to do with the color of your skin. You ain't got nothing to do with that. You can't take pride in it. And if you do, all you're doing is self-worshiping and idol worshiping. My flesh ain't got nothing to do with me.
All right, you done? Listen.
Go ahead, man.
Okay, all I'm saying is this here, Apostle, that he's speaking of a civilization, and that civilization goes back to a time. We're not guessing the exact time. We're telling you about, he's telling you about a civilization. And even in that civilization, he mentions the Hebrews, your faith. He mentions that in this civilization, what we're talking about. So if you want to go by that chronology, then you come behind. You come after.
So what?
But that's all I'm saying. But see, your narrative says.
Do you got a brother?
Looking at
one at a time, Apostle. Let him finish.
I'm just asking him a question.
Well,
Do
I was
you
trying
have
to
a
ask
brother?
you. No, don't ask. Let me finish. Now, while you guys coming out of his narrative, right? Your narrative, the Abrahamic faith, is that Adam and Eve created life and a whole new world was formed. But how could that be if it was in that civilization which you people were in? You understand me? Go ask your question, because in your civilization, you was in that civilization. So where was the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve before Egypt and Kemet and Nubia and these type of civilizations? Not nothing that we making up. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe that's why we don't know where the Garden of Eden is, because it existed before Kemet. He was talking about before Kemet.
All right, I'm not going.
Talking about before Kemet. This was before Kemet.
But you came out of the Hyksos. You came out of
writing.
But you came out of that civilization.
The God Anu comes from Samaria, not Egypt. Anu, Enki, and Enlil is the Sumerian paradigm.
I'm gonna pass the mic
if
to
Egypt got a god called Anu,
or the king.
They got it from Samaria.
All right. I'm gonna pass the mic to Asar or King J, because they're more,
All right. Hold on.
Yelling, man.
Hold on. Just talk. That's what I'm saying. Don't talk.
I'm gonna stop yelling, man, because but when y'all cut me off, man, it gets me, man.
We didn't cut you
off. All right. Hold on. Now, Apostle, you said you don't care about black or the skin being black and all this stuff. The reason you missed the whole thing, you missed the purpose of him saying that. Yeah. The reason he talked about the skin being black was because they tried to whitewash Kemet, brother. They tried to say that these men were white. And that's why when you look at the 10 Commandments, you see a white movie. And so when you look at it, that's why he was showing you how they would chop off the nose, because it was a thick, round nose. No, if you knew that, you wouldn't say,
Napoleon turned his guns on the fence. We know Napoleon did that.
Napoleon did that.
Yo, my man, I got the floor, y'all.
Okay, I'm agreeing with you.
Talking over me. You're not. I'm saying the reason why, because you kept saying, I don't care about black and being the black.
I don't.
Brother, can you just be quiet? So the reason I'm telling you is only because they tried to whitewash it. Not try, they did whitewash it. You see? And so he had to show you the symbols. He had to show you the pictures. He had to show you them statues with their nose chopped off, because they couldn't stand to see the nose. If the people see them noses round and big and them big lips, we would know that these were black people, black men. That's all. Go ahead.
Knowing that they were black men, what is that adding to your character? What is that adding to your economic value? What is that adding to your history? Knowing that they were black.
Let me answer
you. Doing for you?
Let me answer you.
That's kind of like
one of our great leaders, Malcolm X, said, if you don't know your history, if you don't know your roots, brother, be quiet. Let me finish, brother. You got to be able to let me finish. He who does not learn the lessons of yesterday are doomed to repeat them, right? And so therefore, if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going. It motivates other black men to say, well, damn, they did this. I can do this.
That ain't your history.
Brother, can I talk, man? Without you.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that's not your history. It's not your history. Find your history.
Who is you to say that?
Who am I to say that?
Yeah.
No, stop, y'all.
Nobody on this panel Egyptian.
All right, I gotta put y'all two in the back for 1 minute, man, because y'all don't know how to stop interrupting, man. Number one, he said, is that your history? It doesn't matter if it's my history or not. The purpose is getting the history right, getting it completed, getting it right. That's what it is. because we've been taught so much in school that these were European people. I ain't just talking about ancient Egypt. I'm just saying everything became whitewashed to us. So now all of a sudden history don't matter to Apostle? The truth don't matter no more? What is you talking about, Apostle?
I don't glorify in that.
Apostle, I'm bringing you back. And you still
glorify in Christ. I do not glorify in my history, my family, my ancestors. I don't glorify in that.
Apostle.
I worship the Most High and Him alone.
Apostle.
I glory Him.
You just put him in the back and he came back still talking.
He came back talking.
He asked me to continue.
Apostle, is the Hebrew Israelites your history, brother? Is the Hebrew writing your history, brother? Is Ham, Shem, and Japheth your true ancestors, brother? That you can't verify, that you can't prove? Come on, brother. What are you talking about here? What is you talking about? Where can you show me the bloodline of Ham, Shem, and Japheth on some real shit? Not no make-believe, not no book. Can you dig it up and go all the way back and show me Ham, Shem, and Japheth? Because if you can't do that, guess what? We can go all the way back and show you Imhotep. And Imhotep is way before Ham, Shem, and Japheth. So if we can do that with that, but you can't do that with your ancestors, come on, brother. What are you talking about here? Go ahead, Elder Suntan.
All I wanted to say was this, Sana, and it's gonna be real quick. That September 11th, right? That black fireman went and saved them people, remember, in the towers.
Yes.
They made a movie. What color was the man who played his part?
White.
That's all. I rest right there.
That's why
you gotta understand that, Apostle. They
What
still
do you
do it.
expect? If you don't expect that, does that bother me?
That ain't what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah, Apostle missing the point. He's missing the point
Santa
again.
Claus white.
All right,
they
brother.
can make Jesus Christ white. They can make God white. I don't care.
All right.
I know the truth.
As
God
you
is
know,
not a man that he shall lie.
You don't know the truth, Apostle. You don't
know the truth.
No, you don't. You don't. You don't know the truth, Apostle. You don't know
the truth as much as you know the truth.
You don't know the truth, Apostle. You deal with faith.
As much as you know the truth. And I will argue you with this truth from here to my death.
I ain't gonna argue you though.
Hey, let me bring in Sa and Kush.
Let me tell him. Imhotep, y'all. Peace. Shalom. So you make a few mistakes, family. You say all this crazy stuff. It don't matter if they black. Don't you know it got you to worship G? It's not your turn.
You gotta let him talk, brother. Please.
It's your turn, my brother. Look, they made you worship a white god so you would put your black down in the first place.
Go ahead.
They call Assad the Great Black, which is one of the reasons why we're okay with worshiping him.
They call him the Lord of the Perfect Black.
Yes, they do. Kim Ware. So Kim Ware and all that stuff like that. Necha all that stuff. So you can't tell me something in Africa don't belong to me because we descend from Africa. Now, if you want to try to convince me that down the street, way over there in Syria, somehow we got black peoples over there too that are our family too, and we should worship that more than Africa, you got a lot of convincing to do. You understand me? So when you ask the question, why should I care that they black? Why? Because they're the first doctors, they're the first dentists, they're the first priests, they're the first ones to bring you what you have and hold on to now. They're the teachers of the Europeans. They are the only time when you see black people at their greatest point, and they ruled the earth. And no one in their ancient scripts denies that. So when you get to now, when you say stuff like, oh man, that ain't me, that ain't that, then you show the effects that the European has had on your mind over all this time, and you cling on to Jesus, claiming you don't do ancestor worship, but you about to tell me Jesus lived, and then you about to tell me he died, then you about to tell me he came back, and at no time will you say that he was a human being. that should be worshipped, but then you turn around and worship him. So you do ancestor worship and you don't even claim it. Then you're going to have...
Don't make lying statements.
Then you're going to turn around and tell me about your gods. Hold on, brother. I'm almost done. Then you're going to tell me, brother, I'm not finished. Hold tight.
Just don't lie.
Brother, that ain't no lie. Because you about to tell me Jesus or one of them is God or Yahweh.
No,
and he part of the three. Now, when it comes to gods, you would tell us that Yahweh is a god. When we see him in ancient Egypt, being his followers are being subservient to Amun Ra. That's the first time you see them. Your Sashu Yahuwah are being subservient to Amun Ra with your hands behind your back. And guess who they don't look like? You or me. You or me. Now, but you worship that, and that's where your God came from. Then you turn around. Hold up, brother. It's not done. You're gonna get your chance. You turn around, you got all your little dudes coming to Egypt to find ancient biblical facts. If you don't like Egypt so much, then what you looking over there for? Go where you live at, where you supposedly claim Israel, and go find your artifacts. You know why you can't? Because you don't have any. You don't even got the cave that Jesus died in. But you mad at Asar, and Asar got so many temples, tombs, at a time that was thousands of years before your God even came into existence. So don't tell me to leave black alone. We love black. Black is what made us, and black is always going to be, because when you close your eyes, that's all you're going to see.
Just saying.
All right, Apostle, you got the floor, Apostle.
I worship Christ as king. Not as God, not as deity. He's king. Just like David was a king. Okay? He's not God, and I never said he was God. So
hey, Apostle, when was David king? When was David king?
Around 1050.
And you can source that. You can source that outside of the Bible. Can you source it?
You can go in different...
No, I'm asking you. Can you
can go on different articles and find that. You can go on different books and find that. Yeah.
Okay. That's sense, you brother. That's all.
I got a book right here. I can source this up. All right? This is my source. Talking about who Esau is. This is my source.
Who do it say Esau is?
The white man, the Romans.
That book is garbage, man. That shit is trash.
Yeah, right. It's garbage.
Once they start saying Esau is a white man, that's trash. That book is trash.
Right. Here, they talk about you can't find your language. I got it right here.
Where? What is that? Where's that? Let me see.
Right here.
Where?
And my English. Look at it. Written right there. That's 3,000 years old. That's Hebrew.
Everything? Hold up. Is everything that you get is only Hebrew, brother?
It says Shema. Listen.
Mm-hmm.
It says Shema. Okay? And it's 3,000 years old.
Okay.
And you know who put it up there? A white boy put it up there because he had to admit it. He had to admit it. So don't talk.
But here's the question. Bring that book back. Is he saying the black Israelites, or are he talking about European Israelites? Open the book and show me.
Black Israelites.
Open the book and show me that he's talking about black Israelites. Show me.
This alphabet.
Yeah. You see, he closed that back up, though. Open that book and show me that he's talking about black Israelites.
The fact that
he's talking about European Jews, brother.
The white boy.
I read that book, Apostle. He's talking about European Jews.
He's not.
Show me where he's talking about black Israelites.
It's just about the language. It ain't about white or
Show
black.
me where he's talking about black Israelite language,
He's
brother.
not talking about white Israelites either. He's
talking
about the language.
Why are you trying to use that as though he's talking about your people?
Because he is. This is our language.
Nah, Apostle. Stop it, man. Stop it, Apostle.
Yeah.
He's talking about Europeans.
The European Jew does not have this alphabet.
You know what? I don't want to stress my brother out because he just came home. So let me cool out on you.
Have this alphabet.
Yeah, let me cool out on you, brother.
He doesn't have it. Okay?
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, right. I understand.
Yeah. Hey, let me go to Gideon, and then I see I got my brother Black Sage.
Writing until it got something to do with the Israelites. When it got something to do with the Israelites, you don't believe it no more. I understand.
No, that's not true.
Y'all go ahead with your self-worship.
No, that's not true,
with
brother.
your idol worship.
Apostle, do you hear me?
Get you, because I'm gonna tell you,
Apostle,
you ain't got long.
Can you hear me, Apostle?
Maybe a couple of months.
He can't hear
me. Got long.
Damn. Brother Gideon, what's up, man? Let me go to my man Backstage.
What's going on, sir? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, brother.
Shalom to you. What's going on? Peace to Apostle.
Peace to you, brother.
My brother Yaron, Elder Suntan. I see you, Asar. And you know, I'm on the big screen, so I don't see who else on there. But all praises to the Most High in the name of Yahshua. Thank you again, sir, for letting me on. I want to respond real quick, and I'll just relinquish it to my brother Elder Sun, to my brother Elder Suntan.
Yara.
No, I'm speaking to Elder Suntan right now.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I say once I make this statement, I'll just give it to Yara. But Elder Suntan, this is what you got to understand. When, you know, and I keep seeing you mention chronology, the Bible is written, and Apostle spoke on it briefly. The Bible is written in the context of it's the beginning of everything. So when it's talking about creation, it's talking about before the Egyptian civilization, even before the Natufians that was in the Levant. Yeah. So it seems like what you're doing is true enough. The Israelites are a people that came along real late in the story of, you know, world history. We came along pretty late. But if you can't start our creation right there at the time when the Israelites was created. Do you understand what I'm saying? You probably don't, because you know, but you see what I'm saying though?
Brother Gideon, I'm not I can never take away Israel from the people. That's not the argument. We know that there were black Israelites. We know that there were black Israelites at a time in history, but we are talking about the belief system as far as that go. That's what we're talking about.
No, he was saying, speaking of the world is hundreds of thousands of years old. No, but that's what you say?
You misunderstood me. I wasn't saying that. What I was saying was what we knew about a civilization. I didn't mention no time or dates. I didn't say no numbers. I said a civilization.
Yeah, that was a possible number. That was a possible.
No, that was Elder Suntan speaking about why the Bible is off with the chronology. So what you were saying? What you were saying?
I was saying that the civilization of Nubia and Egypt and Kemet, that's a civilization, right? So
right,
your Abrahamic faith comes out of that. It wasn't before that because there's no records of it.
Right, but listen. The Abrahamic people, they do come after certain civilizations.
Right.
You got
all I'm saying.
But still, in all, the story of creation goes before those civilizations you're talking about, though.
Well, you know, I'm not going to go nothing into it. All I'm going to say is this right here. Wasn't nobody there back that far that put it on record. What we have is on record now. We not just making this up. This is not our language that we making up like
right. But even what we have on record,
we not making. I'm just going for folklore.
Right. Even with what we have on record, specifically the Bible doesn't contradict itself as being after civilizations.
Can I say
as
this?
Far as chronology.
Can I say this? Hold on. Brother Gideon, let me say this. Hold on, King Jay.
Hold on. Let
me say this. Brother Gideon, we didn't have the Bible. I mean, when I say we, people didn't have the Bible before the Bible. I don't know that. But we do know that it's written on the walls in Egypt about the records was kept on the wall.
What records?
The Bible was presented.
What records? So say for instance, let's speak specifically for the Hebrew nation, and then I'm gonna fall back. For instance, when Moses, when he was compiling or writing down the story of creation, that's something that was around before his time. It's something that his elders passed on from him, from Noah to Shem to Shem's son. So he had that story, Elder Suntan. So that's when it was written during the time of Moses. But the story of creation was before all of those civilizations.
But let me interact by saying
it was written down. What I'm saying, Kate, what I'm saying, bro, is the story of creation was written down during the time of Moses. But that story of creation, being that it's true, was always around since the time of Noah. That's what I'm saying.
Brother Gideon, this is my rebuttal.
Hold on.
This is my rebuttal, Brother Gideon.
It's logically understand. It's just logically understanding something. When you're presented with something with the Bible, you need to know how to absorb it and take the information. It's not nothing you make up. It's just what you see from reading and comprehending the Bible, King. That's all.
Let me just say this and I'm done.
Yo, hold on, man. Hold on. King J. When the last time, King J, you have supported the channel, brother? When the last time? Talk to me. All right, it's time, brother. It's time, brother. Okay. I'm dropping my Cash App in the chat. Definitely. All the brothers that you see on here right now, always support. So that's why I be letting up, and that's what I told Rock Kufel. They always donate and support the channel and keep it running. This is what I do. This is my job. So this is my business. So the Cash App is in the chat. Go ahead and show some love in there, right? Real quick. And then I'll get back to you.
You finished?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Brother Gideon, this is what I'm saying. We both know the story of Moses, that he was buried in the Nile. He was created and he was put in the Nile and floated to the Egyptian people. The Egyptians was his people, not those biblical people you are talking about. You understand? The Egyptians taught Moses. They told him everything that he knew. That's the story. That's the narrative. I'm not adding or taking nothing away. And Pastor, you can shake your head all you want, but I'm only doing the narrative what I read and heard. So if Moses was buried from the Nile by an Egyptian princess and raised around all of Egypt and learned in Egypt, what makes you think he knew all them people that you talking about?
He was adopted from them people, but I'll let somebody else speak. I see it's a lot of people.
All right, hold on, y'all. We getting ready to let Elder Yara. We getting ready. Peace. We getting ready to let Black Sage in. And Black Sage, oh man, hey, thank you for the flyer, brother. Thank you for the flyer. It looks good. I'm still gonna beat you up. That don't mean I'm gonna stop pounding on you, brother. Pause. So, so Black Sage, I want you to respond to this right here. Luke, and somebody can get it and read it. Luke 14:26. This is horrible, man. And we keep going with this stuff, man.
What about it?
You can read it, Apostle. Luke 14:26, and then I'm gonna let Elder Yara respond. This is horrible. You got it, Apostle? Luke 14:26, King James Version. This is horrible.
I got it, Shaw.
Go ahead, read it. Read.
All right. If anyone comes to me and does not hate his own father and mother, his wife and children, his brother and sisters, yes, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. This verse uses hyperbole to emphasize that a disciple's love and loyalty to Jesus must surpass any other relationship or affection, including family or even their own life. The hatred here is not literal hostility, but rather a lesser degree of love when compared to the absolute devotion required to follow Christ.
How can that be love? In order to follow Christ, you got to hate your mother, Watch. I want everybody to listen to this. Watch their excuse and watch what they come with. You got to hate your mother. You got to hate your father. You got to hate your wife. You got to put all of that aside, and you got to have love for Jesus, who you have never seen before, who sat his ass back and allowed you to go through slavery, allowed your nuts to be cut off, allowed you to be burned alive, allowed you to be molested, raped, and all enslaved for 400 damn years. But in order for Jesus to love you, you got to hate all of those who are in your own family. Talk to us, Elder Yara, man. What's going on?
Well, first of all, that sounds like a bunch of goddamn African guys to me. So let me say this. When you talk about the word in English, when it says hate, it's actually the meaning is chosen or to choose. It's just like when the scripture says Esau, Jacob have I loved and Esau have I hated. It's not the haters that despise, it's the haters and he chose one over the other. So it's about a choice, right? We make choices every day, right? Some of us choose our wives over our children. Some of our wives choose their children over their husbands. Some of our children choose their friends over their parents. So it's about choices there, right? So the brother Rakufu, he really went into it. I don't know what version he was reading out of, but you clearly see that it is not talking about hate as in despise. So what I would do is in that instance, you see that right there when you read the New King James Version, bring that back up, whoever had that up. I don't know who was showing that, right? You see how it reads now in the New King James Version? It says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother, wife and children, brothers and sisters, yes, his own life also. He's not telling you to hate yourself, right? So we know that's not the context. It says he cannot be my disciple. What he's saying was you cannot choose your own understanding over the understanding that the Most High has given me to give to you. It's simple as that. So it's not talking about
you can't even love yourself more than loving God.
Wait, hold up. Yara, I got it in Hebrew. What Yara is saying makes sense according to the Hebrew. It says in Hebrew, hate is sane, S-A-N-E, which can be an intense emotional dislike or enmity, but also can mean to love less, deprive of favor, or to choose one over, like you said, choose. Go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, that's all it's saying.
Over God.
Yeah, it's about making choices,
choose
right?
Africa over God.
No.
To choose black over God.
To choose God
your flesh over God. To choose your history over God. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, I hear you. You're supposed to choose God over all that.
Yeah, and the problem is that a lot of times, like that's why I'm banging against you, like when you do that, sa.neter, because you actually be doing us a favor out here in these streets when you do that, because we start to see what Apostle says all the time. You really can't trust that English translation as you read it. It will send you off. So when Apostle says the English translation or that King James Version Bible ain't the one we rock with, or you should really be looking at, that's the reason why he says that, because the language it will confuse you and it will make you think that you're saying something. And that's what happens to good brothers like you had on the other day, the good brother Sean Towers. You see, when Christians don't really study like Israelites, they go off like that. I'm gonna say it again.
You say the language is a forked tongue?
Yeah, the English language is a forked tongue.
Okay, so Elder Yara.
Yeah.
If you Rock Hoofu, you know how to get to the blue letter?
How do I do it? No, I go to Google and say blue letter, right?
Okay, Apostle, can you get to the blue letter? Because we're gonna set this straight right now. I'm looking at it right now, but I want to see the egg on y'all face when y'all read it. Go to the blue letter. Go to Luke 14:26, and we're gonna see what hate means.
Oh, how much?
I got it right now. I got it.
Go ahead. What does hate mean in the blue letter? What they talking about?
In the blue letter, Luke 14:26 says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate father and mother, wife and children, brother and
Just deal
sister.
with the hate. What does hate mean in the blue letter?
Hey, you know what? I don't got it. Let me shut up.
Okay, let Apostle get it. Apostle, you on mute.
What does hate mean in the blue letter, Luke 14:26?
I'm getting it right now. Luke 14:26. Hold on.
I got it right here. In Luke 14:26, the word hate doesn't mean literal animosity or dislike, but rather to love less.
You gonna keep going, sa.neter?
All right, but that's just a slick way. That's a slick way of saying it. It says love less.
We didn't do that, sa.neter. We didn't write that.
Give it up. You're wrong.
Yeah, sa.neter.
Keep burying yourself.
Just pack that one away, man.
Yeah.
So
just give it up and say, okay, my bad.
Yeah, just pack that one away.
Or prioritize less than Jesus Christ. In other words, if you don't love less than you love, and if you don't love me more than you love them, then there's a conflict. You're not following me.
Turn to John. He said
Right.
the same thing to Peter.
And that's how the Levites became the Levitical priesthood, because
that's a fact.
They chose
Peter 3 times. Do you love me? Peter got to know it. But he was asking Peter, do you love me more than these?
Okay, I stand to be corrected. You got that one. You got that one.
I get them all.
And real quick, side, that's like Apostle said.
Hold on. I gotta tell my brother Yara. You got that one, Yara. I stand to be corrected, brother.
Oh, that wasn't no gotcha for me, but I like I said,
I looked it up myself, and
see, that's why people don't realize as an Israelite why I come on this channel a lot, because a lot of people try to criticize me for coming over here. But I come over here because sa.neter always bring. I'm gonna tell you, a lot of Israelites, except for these brothers on the panel, because I know them, but a lot of Israelites, a lot of Christians wouldn't have been able to answer that correctly.
Right.
So you did good. So that's why I appreciate when you do that, whether I be right or wrong, you agree with me or not. That's why it's important. See, a lot of cats come over, don't be like, well, why are you going over sa.neter? Because he do a lot more Bible study over here than y'all do.
Stop asking me, man. They don't even ask me why I'm coming over here.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so my question to you is this. We speak the English language. If we spoke Kiswahili or Yoruba or one of the African tongues, which a lot of Hebrews even say they came through the west coast of Africa to get here with the rest of us Africans that we claim to be Africans in America, how would you say in the Yoruba tongue that you came through, or some of them West African tongues, one of them at least, the word for the creator? Because we know that God is a pagan German word. It don't have nothing to do with the greater.
Well,
the word God is a pagan German word, right?
Well, yeah, and so
it means Thor or
good.
Thor's father.
Okay. Oh, okay. Go.
So here's my thing with that. You're absolutely right when you're talking about morphology, right?
Okay.
And when you talk about the word God, G-O-D, and somebody said it on this panel though, but we have to understand that those people, right? Those Vikings, those people from another, those people didn't come with an original language. They don't have an original language. So when you start looking at these words, I heard somebody say that you could connect that word God with good, G-O-O-D, right?
I say that a lot of English people tell me that. Yep.
Right. And so watch this. What else can you connect the word good with? Watch this. Watch something from the do.
Great.
On here. Can y'all hear me?
You cutting up, y'all, right?
You're breaking up.
Okay. That's why I'm glad Apostle and Gideon is on here. When you look up the word good, can you relate the word good to the word fortune?
I believe so, but let me look it up.
Yeah.
Definition for the word good.
Yeah.
Right. In the Hebrew, if you study the tribe of Gad, what does that mean, Apostle?
What, the Hebrew word for good?
Or Gad. Yeah, or good, or Gad.
I heard Gad means money.
Well,
Wow.
that's fortune.
Gad we trust. Okay.
Yeah, that's fortune. That's fortune. So the Gadites or Gad, they were known for good fortune. They were known for that. So when you start connecting these words throughout time and history, and as people travel, words follow. You have long words in almost every in almost all
King J, I
cultures.
got you, brother. Go ahead and speak. You can speak too. I got you.
Well.
Yeah, I want to hop in on this too.
Wait, hold on. Before I get too far, I did want to say something to the brother.
Was you finished, y'all right?
Yeah, I go, but I didn't, and I missed what King J said earlier. I wanted to hear what he had to say, but I can fall back.
Yeah, go ahead, King J.
No, I did want to kind of agree with Apostle before we got too far off, because let's not forget the initial point was that what I heard was Professor James Small say 40,000 years ago was when the Sphinx was built, and I mean, and that's it's pseudo only because it's pseudo because if we looking at biblical chronology, we date the pyramid to 2600 BC roughly. So I just want to suggest to the panel, like, do you believe in science, and like what dating system is he using when he's saying 40,000 years ago for the pyramid, and does the timeline of Egypt fit within the chronology of the Bible, and do they have to? Do they have to?
I can answer that, man.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I jump in? Wait, hold up. Can I jump in on that one?
Please do, cause it's surprised at you, King.
Thank you. Hey, Hotep, you guys, Abiba to me. Thanks for letting me in. So when Professor Smalls was talking about the 40,000, I believe he was referring to Black Genesis, the book Black Genesis, written. I forgot the guys who wrote it. Yeah. So they did the research and dated the Sphinx back to at least about 20,000 BC. He probably misspoke to 40,000, but the thing is that the ancients were around. Our people were around, for tens of thousands of years. And what happened was that European white people, they reduced the timeline because they only appeared and came on the planet, about 6,000 BC. So when he was talking about that, you can check out that book, Black Genesis, and they go through the calculations and show you that the Sphinx had to be built around 20,000 BC. And they laid the foundation and the plans for the Great Pyramids at the same time. But I hopped on the panel because but
just hold on. So if you believe that, then are you familiar with the Green Sahara and like how certain periods of times that land wasn't inhabitable? So 20,000 years ago, I'm quite sure that area wasn't suitable for habit.
No. They go through that as well. They explain it. They show you that it was a migration. People migrated at the time, and in that area of Kemet, that area where they started, it was people migrated back and forth, and they show you the evidence. They go through that. They show you that about 40,000, 50,000 years ago, they was there, and they migrated.
You kind of pseudo right now because the Neolithic period starts at 6,000 BC. So the Neolithic period was the first time that area was habitable, the Nile Delta, where we see Levantine migration from the Levant into the Delta is 6,000 BC.
I understand what you're saying. But like I said, hold up. Listen, like I said, the book Black Genesis, they give proof. They calculated the stars. They calculated the stars around 26,000 BC.
Hold up.
You can't do that by guessing.
Hold up, though. You keep talking over me. I'm telling you, you can't tell them that without giving them the information. You can't talk, like, for instance, they're talking about the rain. It hadn't rained in Egypt since 10,000 BC. So that the water erosion on the Sphinx is why they dating it. You got to give them information while you're making a statement.
Exactly.
I'm not, like I said,
the water erosion spread up to Dayton. I think.
all I said was I gave you my reference, the book Black Genesis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go pick it up and go
That's
through
a
the
source.
pages.
That's
You know
a
what I'm saying? That's
source.
my source. I believe that's the source that Professor James was going off of,
He's
because they
not a
came,
very good source. I'll put
they
it that way.
came, they
Hey.
came with the information, and they showed the calculations of them calculating. They showed that they was living there, that people was living there 50,000 years ago, and they showed the evidence.
Yeah.
So
Let's
it's,
be
I mean,
fair.
you have to check out
So
the
this,
book.
so this is, so this
I
is,
have
this is,
no, there's no
So this-
bones there
Right.
out there. A bone will not survive that long.
They didn't show bones. They
People was out there.
showed the rocks, the carvings in the rocks and the formation that they
this
made,
is- so this is
because they
before
was
Naphtali-
calculating.
No.
So
I
is
didn't,
this
you,
before
I didn't come
So
to
wait, hold on, brother, hold on. Is this before Naphtali?
You know,
Multiplier, yeah.
Naphtali was 8,000. Yeah, but this was before. You got to look at this. I just asked AI, how long had people lived in? How far back had people lived in Egypt? It says people were living in Egypt as early as the Paleolithic period, over 400,000 years ago.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's talking about Homo erectus.
I'm gonna look for Homo sapiens.
People ain't been living no 400,000 years.
Yeah, they should have prefaced
Come
that,
on,
but
man.
that's
Y'all
their
getting mixed up
belief.
here, man.
That's a
Ain't
belief.
no people living no 400,000 years.
If we've been on the planet for over 1 million years, people have to live in the
A
area.
million? Who in the hell said?
35.
You better get away from this white man telling you that this world is that old. No way in the hell can they tell that.
35,000 years.
No way.
But we
Get
can, but
that.
the apostles going
look,
by
the research has
that
already been
European
done.
calculation saying that the Earth is only 6,000 years old. That's a
Not
belief.
6,000 years old. I don't go by that.
Yeah, it's all the belief though, because if you wanna believe the earth is millions of years old, you can't prove that.
No, we can prove something.
You can believe
that.
Over
but you can't prove it.
burial.
And for y'all to ask us to prove something and then turn around and
All
say
right, let's
that.
get some order, y'all. One mic,
Crazy
one mic,
stuff, man.
one mic.
All right, and can I? The reason I came on the panel because I heard they said. I just want to say I heard it that Jesus doesn't matter. Who Jesus was or the color of who he was, does it black or white? It doesn't matter. And that's why I chimed in, and I just wanted to come back to the fact of looking at it from an African-centered point of view. That actually, it probably really doesn't matter, because I remember the thing is that I remember like over 30 years ago, Amos Wilson asked the question, why is it that black people catch the most smoke, catch the most hell, and they the most Christians, most religious people. And the thing is, and you guys, Jabari could verify what I'm about to say. It's a reciprocity. It's a spirituality thing. It's reciprocity. Black people don't show reciprocity with Jesus, but white people did. When they made that pact with Constantine, that was a pact and a spiritual relationship that they went back and forth with when they sacrificed it and killed people in the name of Jesus. That was reciprocity. That's why it really don't matter, because as long as we pray as much as we want to, as long as you give homage to Jesus as much as you want to, the bond that white people built over the last 800 years with Jesus was sealed in blood. We haven't done that. We haven't offered any type of sacrifices at all. All we offer is
I just want to ask him what do you mean by reciprocity? What you mean by that?
It's a give. It's a give and a take. You just, in spirituality, you just can't pray and say, "Hey, please help me with this, do this, that." No, there's a give and a take. That's why they do libation. That's why they do offerings.
Who do libation?
Something. And in return, you're going to offer me something. That's spirituality. So even though white people may not understood that, or they did, they, over those years, they offered sacrifices in the name of what? Christianity, in the name of Jesus. That's why they gone with Christianity.
Sacrifices in Christianity. When? That was after the Hebrews did their stuff. The Christians say Jesus was sacrificed enough. What you talking about?
Even though they say that,
Well, if they
that's not,
do it,
even though you can say whatever you want to say.
you can do whatever you want to do. If they did do it, it wasn't accepted because Jesus already made the creed. There's no more of that. So if they was doing it, they was doing it in vain.
But you see that. But this is what I'm saying. Here's contrast. Think about this. The sacrifice. Think about the Haiti Revolution. Think about how them black people united under one. They was all different ethnicities, but they united under one God, or quote unquote God.
All right, real quick. A Hebrew sister, a Hebrew woman, jumps up in here and says the earth is 6,000 years old. What do y'all got to say about that? Now, this is your Hebrew sister, Apostle. What's going on? Y'all reading the same books, man. What's going on? What's going on, Brother Gideon?
Where y'all right?
On the black stage, y'all all reading the same book. How come she got it right and y'all got it wrong?
The same way you got different Christian churches out here that believe different things, and they reading the same book.
Let's go on record, Apostle. How old do you say the earth is?
I don't know. I don't say how old.
Good answer.
I have no idea.
Good answer, Apostle. Excellent answer.
Good
I have no idea how old the earth is. Do I believe it's 4 billion years old?
Yeah,
No.
but you just said that you said it's not 1 million. So some things you do know that it's not. Well, how far back does it not go?
No, I'm not even saying it's not 1 million. I don't know.
Oh,
Doc, can I get 30 seconds to respond whenever?
Yes, you can, sir.
And I don't believe if it's 1 million years old, man has no way of proving that.
Right. That's right.
Okay, let me ask you this. Trees, they got a ring around them.
Hold on. Brother Gideon got the floor.
That got 1 million rings in it.
All right, Apostle Gideon got the floor.
Yeah, appreciate that, sir. But yeah, real quick, Brother Kufu, and to the person that, me personally, I think the creation story tells us, and there's some Israelites who disagree, that the world is 6,000 years old. And when you look at it, it's the most pro-black understanding of creation that there is on the planet. So you want me to believe, along with the mass Europeans who believe in evolution, you want me to believe that men been here 1 million years and ain't just start reading and writing till about 5,000 years ago. That's ludicrous. So when you look at it, they say that the black man, the African, he's the oldest man on earth. So he the biggest dummy that been walking around, just coming from his family of apes. It don't know how to read, don't know how to write. It's still wanting to go in the trees. And 5,000 years ago, they start building and start writing down history. The Bible tells us that as soon as the black man was created, he was writing, he was making civilizations. Not only that, he gave that information to the so-called Europeans, which are the true sons of Japhet, and they started building civilizations. So the story of creation in the Bible is way more pro-black than any type of neo-humanistic evolution theory that a person can think of.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Stop. Make a note of what he just said, because he said the European is the Japhethic people. He's the first Hebrew I ever heard say that. I've always said that's what they teach. They always beat me down and say, no, we don't say that, because the Bible says that there was three. You can go into Strong's Concordance: Ham, Shem, and Japheth, and they call Japheth the elder, they call Ham the younger, and like semi this, semi that, the word Semitic, that's the middle child, which is the Semites, or the heat with the Jews and them come out of. Their older brother is the white man Japheth. Their baby brother is Ham, the black man. But that's upside down in science. We know Africa got the oldest people. Shem is not
man,
older.
You can't even believe to say something like that, man.
Yeah.
According to the Bible, all three races come from an African man.
Yo, is one mic. Let the man finish. Go ahead, Rakufu.
He say it all the time.
Every time I say it, and you're right, because this is the first time I heard someone in your circle agree that Japheth is the white man.
Japheth is the father of the European.
Fact, the white man.
He's the father of the European.
Yes, the white man.
Now, that first European was a black man.
Oh, do you agree with that, Gideon?
Abraham.
Gideon.
Listen to me.
I don't get no answer.
Him,
Nah,
and
the
had one father,
I'm listening,
one mother.
I'm listening, Gideon. What do you say?
They were all black.
I heard you say this 1,000 times. Gideon, are you agreeing with that?
Yeah, when you look at the origin stories of the people like the Greeks or the Romans, well, not so much the Romans, because the Romans they say they come from actually a black man, which was Aeneas from the Trojan War. But people like the Greeks, they come from Io, and Io comes from Japhet. So yeah. Gomer, Togomar, the Ashkenazi, go ahead.
You're saying he's black, right, Gideon?
Say that again.
You're saying Japheth is not the white man; he's the black man originally, right?
He's a black
man.
No,
I'm saying in the case.
He produced.
I'm saying.
Can I get a yes or no to it? Not all the information behind it. It was Japheth, the producer, and the original white man himself. Yes?
No.
Or no? I'm asking you.
Yeah.
He is? Yeah.
Yeah. Chittim, Javan, Togomar. Yeah, those are the Japhet races.
Therein lies the problem, sir. The apostle saying no, Gideon saying yeah. Who do we believe?
Well, I mean,
see this. Hold up. Apostle is saying no to what?
Apostle is saying no. He wasn't the white man. He was black, and he produced the white man. Gideon saying no. He was the white man, and he produced the white man. So there it is.
Yeah. But Apostle is right. If Japhet is the son of Noah, he's got to be a black man.
Noah. And all of the stuff that y'all talking about are fictional characters, man.
No, they're not.
These are not real people, bro. You know who are real people? Watch this. Watch this. Apostle, you're right. The first Europeans that was in Europe were black people. Were people of color. Did y'all know that? There was a people called the Grimaldis, man.
Right.
Who were there way before the Europeans.
Right. The Europeans came from the black man.
I told you we have migrated all over the world, man. All over the world. And I'm gonna prove it right now. Watch this. Watch this. I'll prove it.
Put me on
Take
screen.
Those books and throw them in the trash.
No. These are the ones, ancient and modern Britain, showing you the blacks originally from Europe. This is volume 1 and 2.
There you go. There it is.
Well, then what's the problem? That's
what Apostle said.
I know Apostle was he made fictional characters like Sa said. He called it Noah. Noah didn't have every animal. He didn't even know what a paca was. He didn't even know what a llama was over here in America. He didn't even know what.
How do you know that?
You're talking about animals now, but
nobody could put all the animals on the planet on a boat and flood the
he
whole
didn't
planet.
have to know all the animals, fool.
Yeah, you just got
Hold up. Everybody, hold on. Watch this. How old were the Grimaldi people?
What are you referring to? Please provide more context.
Oh, man, damn. Inka, you calling me at the wrong time, bro. How old were the Grimaldi people?
26,000 BC.
Damn.
It says,
damn, man, Inky keep fucking calling.
The was the first people.
And are early modern humans whose remains were found in
what up?
And are believed to have lived between approximately 26,000 and 22,000 years ago.
That's their religion, Rakupu. That's a religious belief, bro. When you break it down scientifically, because you can't prove it.
That's a science.
That ain't a religion. And all of a sudden, they take that word where it says believe, and all of a sudden it means it is.
No, approximate era. In the era is approximately. They can't give you month, hour, minute.
And it doesn't mean that.
What
it just means believe.
And Apostle was wrong because he said that a tree can't tell you millions of years. I
didn't tell you. I said a tree can't tell you if it's a million years.
Exactly. And I can prove that's wrong because...
Okay, go find a tree that got a million rings in it.
Let me get it out. The ginkgo biloba tree in China, which the agents eat the ginkgo biloba nut, is over 1 million. You can Google it. Million.
Yeah, okay. Right. You
All right, hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Stake your life.
Were the Grimaldi people a people of color?
Grimaldi were an early modern human population in Europe, with physical traits sometimes described as negroid or Afrocoid, suggesting a connection to people of African descent. However, this classification is based on interpretations of skeletal remains from the Upper Paleolithic period and is a subject of debate among anthropologists.
All right, hold on, y'all. Be quiet. Hold on. Were the Grimaldi people there before the Europeans got there?
Yes, the Grimaldi people, who are classified as early European modern humans, existed in Europe before the arrival of the populations that would later be considered European. The Grimaldi skeletons are dated to the Upper Paleolithic period, roughly 26,000 to 22,000 years ago. Their arrival in Europe is part of a larger migration of modern humans from Africa that began more than 45,000 years ago, thousands of years before the distinct European races of today were established.
Damn, so that's showing you that the people of
right there.
They were up in there, man.
Look at that side. That's the first European man ever found his
That
bones
ain't
and how
the
they
first
made it.
European man. That's a cartoon. That's
Yeah,
somebody
Rock
made
Kufu,
that.
you got to be careful with
Dumb ass up, man.
You got to be
Come on,
careful
you can't
with
be
that.
that dumb.
Rock Kufu. Nobody knew who they Rock Kufu. Stop, man.
You're right. I give you that. But you know
Come
how
on, man. Come on, man.
they take the bone and they flesh it out. This is what they fleshed out. Most earliest European had dark skin, and this is what they took the bones and reconstructed. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
And
Hey,
he's on what's that?
Noah
National Geographic
was black.
Page. Okay.
Noah's wife was black.
All right,
Noah's
stop now,
son
Apostle. You going
was
crazy now.
No, you got it.
Apostle, you going crazy now.
Shut up. I'm not going crazy. I'm saying
Keep
as
bringing
the
in Noah. We talking about
story
real stuff right now, bro.
As the story goes, as the story is told, Noah was a black man. There were only black people on the earth at that time. So stop it, y'all.
No, I would agree. Y'all be how you spell the word believe. I believe belie that you belie in that, but it's still true. Blacks are the first. So you mix some truth with some lie. It was no fictional character named Noah, but was blacks first? Yes. So you mix truth with lie.
You can't prove that to me.
You
that
can't.
Noah did not exist.
The whole scientific world, we never
You know
found
what?
one grave of a Hebrew.
In 202, they located. What year was that when America went to war in Beirut? After they killed Saddam.
What year did
They
America?
located
91, wasn't it?
the tomb.
Saddam.
They located
That
the
was
tomb
91.
of what's that guy's name? The myth.
You got that wrong. Apostle said
Nimrod.
was involved.
Not Nimrod.
In
But
Beirut,
it
Lebanon,
might be Nimrod,
Saddam.
but they're calling it behind the book, the Sumer guy, the king.
From where? What king?
In Baghdad, in Sumeria. The king they call
with the
they talk about with Noah, the flood.
Hammurabi?
No, before Hammurabi. They showed his sarcophagus.
Not Xerxes.
No. The guy.
He's a Sumerian king, right? The first.
Sumerian king.
Who was
It was first told as myth, but they found the body is 9 feet long. The sarcophagus is 9 feet long, and it has a gold plate over his face. What is this guy's name? King Xerxes? No.
It'll come to you. Just chill out for a minute.
What's the
It'll come
guy's
to you.
name, man?
You talking about the tomb that they was working on in Iraq, right? Around Saddam's time, right?
It say Elohim.
Yeah, that was Nimrod's tomb. They were saying that it was that he found.
But they're giving it another name.
It says Elohim, Alulim, is considered the first mystical ruler of the city of Eridu, Sumerian
Well, I'm
kingdom.
not talking about him.
Okay.
I'm talking about what's the name of the book?
Rakufa, you would have to Google what tomb was Saddam working on or found.
Okay. What tomb was Saddam Hussein working on before his demise?
It wasn't Saddam. The Americans found it after they got rid of him. They was looking for the money.
I don't see nothing in there. So like I'm gonna look what Apostle said. What tomb did the Americans find after Saddam was ousted? Should I say that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's probably more better.
What ancient tomb in Iraq was found after Americans ousted Saddam?
After they killed Saddam.
There is no confirmed ancient tomb that was found and publicly announced in Iraq immediately after U.S. forces ousted Saddam. So I don't know how to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like popular myth. I'm not sure.
Of Noah.
All right. Time out, everybody. Time out. I dropped the link in the chat. We are live right now. Me and Dr. Inky. The title is, Was Jabari Osaze telling the truth and nothing but the truth when it came to Charles Darwin? Inky is live right now on the HOK. So all y'all got to do is reboot and start it all over. I already told y'all about this one coming up. We are live right now. Peace and Black Power. Come on over and we're going to get it in. We live.
Who was the king that he said Inky do?